shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wanted fire, a mic on this dawn. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fed. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow in compare. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, raising thought from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead on his ground. Rings through the silence of the night, the loyal understand. Trigger keeps the balance right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I became the chaos of found to strong against the darkness, rising defend. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Now you're head to the beast that patrols the doors. It's in hell of reason with the ball crushing block. If his bull runs a deep, the shadows will consume. The world cracks open, usher it up. So with the command, don't deploy a core. If you know what's good, feed more the overlord.
Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Warehouse Junkie in the building saying like and subscribe. Definitely should do that. We got Dixie Insider, 2 messages, 2 chats, 1 message, school. Actually, we were doing the gaming stream last night, and I did not realize that I ran out of alcohol. So I actually DoorDashed some alcohol for the first time, but they got to check your ID at the door. So I got to keep an eye on my phone because I am not going to be able to hear. We also got Dylan Soup. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. And Guam Tag said like and shared again. Thank you, guys. You know how much that stuff really, really, really does help. It's free, it's easy, it takes 1 second, and it really does help. It doesn't even matter if you think anybody is going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform they want that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Welcome, 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 guys. You know we had to do it. You know we had to talk about the Alex Pretti situation. And you good? All right. I think there's a lot more nuance with this than there was with the Renee Good situation. So I think, Destiny actually did 2 debates on this within the last 36 or 48 hours or whatever. But I think the one we're going to watch is a little bit more concise and is going to give us a little bit more place to find that nuance and talk about all that and see what it is. So let's dive right in. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
In order for your scenario to work, you have to not tell the truth.
This is why I don't think that it's worth it for Walz to take like the ultra kind position and to say, oh, there should be no violence in protest, because people like Sean and all the other Republicans will constantly mischaracterize every single thing they say.
Stephen, Sean, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And yes, I know. Destiny is haram on this channel, but like I said, I'm not gonna just cover him for no reason. But this is obviously a big deal, and he's going to be the best with the rhetoric and debate speak on all of this stuff. And I think Actual Justice Warrior is really good on the facts themselves. So let's do it.
So, Sean, I'll start with you. I come at this from the perspective of somebody who's not anti-ICE, not anti-law enforcement, but always critical of any time you have government officials obviously using lethal force against citizens, as I think we all should be. But when I look at this latest shooting that is dividing everybody, the shooting of Alex Pretti, and we've all seen the different video angles, it seems to me, given that he was disarmed before they shot him, given the fact that there were multiple agents restraining him, pushing him towards the ground, it seems to me like an unjustified shooting that could potentially be considered prosecuted for either murder or manslaughter at some point. But where are you at on this shooting?
Right. So, essentially there are good shoots and bad shoots in terms of legality, but there's like shootings like this that exist in maybe like a moral gray area, because we know with the benefit of hindsight that they got the firearm away from him. Now, there's a lot of speculation that the firearm that the guy had, Alex Pretti, is one of these defective firearms that will like often improperly discharge. And I've seen video that makes the case that has happened. It's not confirmed as far as I know, but if you have officers yelling gun, 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 then you get the gun removed. And not every officer knows that. Hopefully in that situation, people start shouting clear so that they know that the gun is gone. But then you hear a gunshot seconds later.
So already we're in a situation where Actual Justice Warrior being on the side of this is a justified shooting, that somebody should have said clear. I think a big thing that I want to get across on this stream is that we don't have to play this like team sports. We can call it as we see it and not play teams. When someone who is working towards our goals does something wrong, we can address that, and vice versa. Shout out to TV Viewerski starting us off hot with the $10 PayPal. Thank you. So very much, sir. You're not hungry today? Oh, he's hungry. Thank you, sir. That's right. Every single donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Dickens said, I heard today that AP had the AP had 3 total run-ins with ICE this month. One where he kicked the tailgate. I was just about to pull that up. We also got Larry in the building. So Destiny is an obnoxious debate, bro, no doubt, but there's no way this killing can be justified. This was straight up execution, regardless of your thoughts on Destiny as a person. Interesting. So, I did put up a poll on the landscape stream. Remember, if you are watching on vertical and you would prefer to watch on landscape, I always pin that link to the top of the chat. And finish this sentence. Alex Pretti was murdered. Well, I guess this doesn't. I fucked up the grammar, but he was either murdered, he got what he deserved, or unfortunately caused his own death. Which one do you think? And so, since who is it? Since Larry brought it up, or did Larry bring it up? Who did it? Oh, Dixon brought it up. Let's jump right to that. And
our footage was analyzed by Dave.
This is so I'm getting this from Tim Pool. We'll see. It's not his video. He's reposting it. But
this is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away.
So before we even go any further, what are we seeing and what does it mean? So first, we are seeing that this is not some, like just little angel. This is somebody who has a history of doing this kind of stuff, not just the protesting, but actually getting involved, causing damage, and putting himself in harm's way. Now, does that mean that it changes anything about the actual moment where shots went off? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is ancillary to the larger narrative, but it is very important because they're trying. I saw a video of him. I think he worked in a hospital or something, and they saw him praying over somebody's. But I didn't really watch it, whatever. But trying to frame it as like, oh, this poor man. And yes, it is absolutely unfortunate and horrible that he died, but it's not the way they're making it seem.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
And so again, what do we see right there? Having a gun on you in Minnesota, no big deal. Having a gun on you in the commission of a felony, wrong one. A little bit of a bigger deal. Let's speed this up.
Here, he continues to stand at the scene.
So where is he? I think he was in the same jacket.
On the day he was killed,
Yeah.
the Department of Homeland Security claims Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis of bystander videos from multiple news investigations, which concluded that Pretti was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street.
So, I mean, all right, we get the point. Not anything inherently, crazy. Not anything inherently that would cause somebody to say, oh, he deserves to die or anything like that. But just giving more color to the situation that we are talking about. What did TV say? Had Minnesota taken away their pew-pew, as per law here, much greater chance he would be breathing. Had Minnesota taken away... Well, I mean, they did. Why don't we do this? Before we get into any of this, let's watch the actual the video just in case we haven't seen it. And okay, let's start here. Oh, sorry. So we have this angle. We have him on the ground here. Then when we see the guy, I think it's this guy, walk away. This guy walked away. Alex is no longer armed. This guy's running away with his gun. This is when you're talking about in the so wait, what do you mean then? And this one taking the Oh, you mean the fact that he committed a felony, that he should have gotten his gun taken away. Gotcha. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I don't necessarily agree with the infringement on 2A in the first place, but you are right. Yes, if he got in trouble for this, then he wouldn't have had the gun there in the first place. Very good point. Spunek said he fucked around and lost his life. He was an idiot. So and again, I think this can be true without saying that he deserved to die. They're two very different things. And that's really, again, the nuance here. We're going for nuance, guys. Let's just back it up. So yeah, once this guy, that's him with the gun, and then the pop that you heard supposedly was the Pretti's gun misfiring here. And then they all just fucking light him up. And so again, we're looking at this guy. So he's grabbing at the holster, takes the gun. Oh my God, these fucking whistles. We don't need the fucking whistles. So now he's got the gun and he turns away. So at this point, Pretti is unarmed. And yeah, a lot of people are saying that. We see a lot of videos of people who have this same gun. Now, I don't know jack shit about guns, but that's very common for that to misfire. And so then I'll turn the sound back on here. And then that first one supposedly is the misfire. And then they all go, "Oh no!" That looks bad, guys. That looks really, really bad. That looks really, really bad. But again, it's not about what does it look like in a slowed down frame by frame thing. It's about what does it look like in the moment. Shout out to Equality and Deference because vagina over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared again. Thank you so much. That stuff is so free and easy. Really do appreciate it. Said, so it's Destiny, the soy boy ultra cuck versus actual justice warrior. He's a real one. He's a real one. So let's get into it.
Out and clear so that they know that the gun that makes the case that has happened. It's not confirmed as far as I know, but if you have officers yelling gun, 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 then you get the gun removed, and not every officer knows that. Hopefully in that situation, people start shouting clear so that they know that the gun is gone, but then you hear a gunshot seconds later, and then people respond to that gunshot. You're in a situation where somebody who died shouldn't have died, obviously, and it's a tragedy, but it's not a crime. It's not a murder. It's not a manslaughter.
Right. And regardless of how bad it is, regardless of how bad of a shot it was, regardless of how you see it, the fact is that once he entered the situation, then everything that happens is legally on him. We can talk about how, maybe they were a little trigger happy, that somebody should have yelled clear once they got the gun, all that kind of stuff. But that didn't happen.
Because they're responding to circumstances in that moment, and legally, this is how we judge those standards. That being said, it is tragic. Like, I wish this guy would not have gotten shot in this scenario. It's just that's what it looks like happened as of right now.
All right, Stephen, your perspective on this.
Yeah, so I mean, unless there's more.
Maverick said it's no, it isn't legally on him that he got shot. So again, unless I misunderstand the law, once you are in the commission of a felony, anyone that gets hurt or killed after that point is on you. Maybe I misunderstand, but that's why we look to the experts. That was tongue in cheek.
Circumstances that I'm not aware of, I just don't see any reason why the officers would have interpreted him as being a threat.
Again, the wording, why he didn't see. Fair enough. He didn't see it, but he wasn't there. Hey, shout out to Warehouse with the $5. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. And of course, a treat for Morty. Come on, bro. I can't reach any further. There we go. Requesting a side quest. All right, what do we got here? The short. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, sorry. Let's do take two. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Let's see what we're looking at. So I think this is the other one that I saw as well. The showing that the gun
I saw something super interesting today that I want to yap about. It's because I've shot either. So like, for example, this is just a Springfield XD. And if you go to like move the slide, there's not even like the slightest give in it at all. But again, maybe that's common in some way, but I'm certainly pretty unfamiliar with a slide moving like that.
Now, why is that important? That is important because the striker mechanism is in the slide and the sear and FCU is in the frame. So any up and down movement affects the engagement of the sear and the striker hook. In case somebody doesn't know, this is pre-travel on a trigger or free play. Nothing is happening here. No firing process is starting at all. When it hits that wall, that's when it will start lowering the sear.
A super solid explanation on why the movement of that slide is so odd. And then he explains the pre-travel. Then he measures the pre-travel, and then he puts in.
I just showed you right there. Again, this is simulating what the FBI found as a shelf on either the sear or the striker hook, and it getting caught up on that. Or maybe you're putting input on the trigger, and you've only gone less than a millimeter through the firing sequence, through the actual movement of the sear down is less than 1 millimeter. And we're going to see if it'll set the cartridge off. I don't know. We'll try it a couple times. It might not. This safety might be working, but the other safeties might not have been. So let's see.
Damn.
It is pretty crazy.
And I'm pretty sure in that video he does the he does that a number of times. Like it's set off a number of times. So again, I don't know jack shit about this stuff. But clearly it looks like a confluence of a lot of bad events. Excuse me, not anyone being explicitly malicious. So thank you, and of course get in those $5 for your own side quest. And remember, guys, check the stream goal. Check the stream goal at the top of the chat. We have our normal stream goal with push-ups and Morty and all that good stuff. But if we hit the goal that we have, 10 $5 super chats, then you guys get to choose my next tattoo. Get it in. Get it in. Thank you, sir. We got JL in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So from what I understand, this is that, we were just watching that. That's not the same day. That was from a month ago. I'm pretty sure. Gronex, it doesn't change the fact that the guy was literally doing every single thing wrong in this situation leading up to his death. Yep. Yeah. Well, done now. All right. So now that we've seen all of that, there's other angles, and we'll go to it if we need to. But that's the situation. Obviously, there are two sides of this. Legally, that it was murder or manslaughter, and that, well, it was a really bad thing, but it was legally justified.
I'm not aware of. I just don't see any reason why the officers would have interpreted him as being a threat. We've heard a lot of crazy things from this administration, from Kristi Noem, from the guy who just got fired, but I want to say Bongino, but it's not him. Bovino? Yeah.
Greg
the
Bovino.
guy who was the
Kristi Noem press conference, I guess you would call it. That was bad. This is in the same way they try to make the victims into these saints. The other side is like, oh, this is a domestic terrorist. I'm like, okay, was he though? Or was he just a fucking zealot who had no life and was brainwashed by mainstream media?
The commander of the at-large forces for ICE, and then Trump himself has, been posting on Truth and everything that this guy was attacking officers and was brandishing his weapon and acting in a threatening manner, and I just don't see that anywhere. I don't see how this cop could have ever thought that this person was a threat. There's a lot of questionable stuff leading up to the altercation, to where he's, pushing this guy, pepper spraying him. I really just don't see any justification. There's some things you can kind of be on the wall with, but for this particular shoot, I don't see how it was an ethical or a legal shoot when one considers the totality of the circumstances. I don't think that officer should have ever felt like his life was in danger.
Yeah.
And again, you may not have felt that, but that's not the standard.
That's what it comes down to, Sean, legally speaking.
And so if you're not familiar, this is Brad Polumbo, gay conservative. He's usually pretty moderate. I like a lot of his takes, but he is, I think, a little bit more centrist than I prefer.
Is whether the officer would have a reasonable fear of their life being in or bodily safety being in imminent danger. And if they do, then that's where you get a legally justified shooting. But if they don't, and not to say they weren't scared, they could fear for their life, but that fear might not be reasonable to an average person.
That's fair. And again, that's up for a jury. So my alcohol is here. Let me just pull up the play along in case you missed it. I did start playing a video game. I played a video game. So check this out. I will be. Why are we not getting sound? Well, I mean, this means.
And next to Josh.
All right, I'll be right back.
That's how we met. I mean,
Yeah, Marty, you're in charge.
To this day.
Match made in heaven.
If it weren't for the fact that Jeannie Simmons hit puberty like 20 years early, and on that day decided to wear a low-cut shirt that showed off her training bra, I mean, who knows? You could be riding in this cable car alone right now, or talking to some other person entirely. Boom. Butterfly effect.
Dun dun. Can you guys read the chat? Is this too? Yeah. Is this too small? The chat. Is it too small for you to read? And also, I'll try it again, because when I did it here, I zoomed in, but it didn't zoom in on your guys' end. It always does this. God damn it. Yeah, is that changing for you guys? It is too small. I think so. Let's try this. Settings. Do that. Did anything change? See, it looks the same. Make the game cover all on the screen. Put you the top left. Okay, see, wait. Well, it's widescreen anyway, so we're gonna have some. But then I would want to do that. Oh, god damn it! Because it's wide. Yeah, the things are in the. Fucking A. Yeah, we need a little bit of space for the captions. Nothing changed. That's so weird. That's so weird. Let's try to get rid of it entirely. Right? Yeah. No. Get rid of it entirely. Delete YouTube chat. Yes. Then we have this on large. Copy. New. Fuck. Which one was it? Browser. Right? YouTube 2. Hold on. I think that was
Jeez Louise,
Well,
Matt.
I did mean to scare you, sort of scare you, but not like for real scare you.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, wow. Man, I'm really sorry, Ash. Damn.
It's okay, it's fine.
What are you looking at? See anything juicy with that thing? Let me check it out.
We are her. Which would you pick? So I guess you got some of the troubleshooting there. But yeah, I just got my first DoorDash alcohol. Let's go. We did have a very good time playing that game, and I was on a little bit longer than I expected to. So we drank a little bit more. All right. Where are we at? Amelia Bedelia? Who's Amelia? Guantek said James O'Keefe just put out his undercover videos from Minnesota yesterday. Really good watch for anyone who wants to understand what's really going on there. Yeah, there's actually another side quest as you bring it up. It's a very interesting thing that you don't see these kinds of protests and stuff everywhere, but yet we have this.
So I addressed this in an earlier video, but I wanted to be a little more specific. So in that earlier video, I pointed out that most of the ICE arrests that have occurred under Trump, they're not happening in Minnesota.
So this is you can see the thing here where all the people are being. You can see that most of it happened in California, Florida, Texas, and what is that? Maine. That's Maine, right? And up here, pretty yellow.
Most of the ICE arrests that have occurred under Trump, they're not happening in Minnesota, right? Like very little of ICE activity is actually happening up there. This is where most of the ICE arrests are happening. These are your top 20 states.
So top 20, Texas, Florida, California, Georgia, Arizona, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, North Carolina, Alabama, Colorado, Maryland, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Utah, and Indiana, all with higher rates of arrests and detainations. What is the word? Detains. You know what I mean? Arrests, and we're not seeing anything going crazy. What else did we see in Minnesota that maybe they want people to forget about? Shout out to Johnny Johnson. So it's amazing to me that more incidents like this haven't happened, given the sheer lunacy of these activists constantly inserting themselves into these altercations and impeding constantly. Yeah, and then, oh man, you guys are hitting all the stuff that I wanted to look at right up top. And so we have, we have their leaders. Oh, we got a hungry dance. Morty's hungry. And the fact is that exactly what Johnny is saying here. They're detentions. There we go. Stupid. I don't know why that escaped me, but detentions. Thank you, Equality. Not that many detentions yet. All this fucking problem. We have two issues. Number one, the governor is having, and the mayor having the local PD stand down, and then on top of that, they're saying shit like
served
this.
On the China Commission in Congress, ironically enough, as co-chair with Marco Rubio. We used to bring in Chinese political prisoners, and we would ask them, when we speak up and call out your government, is it bad? And they said, well, in the short run, it's bad because they torture us. But if you don't speak up, they will torture us and forget about us. And the idea is right now is we have to be speaking up. We have to call it out. You are doing everything, and our neighbors are doing everything. And I can't stress enough on this. We're winning it.
Yeah, you are doing everything. You are doing everything. Instead of the local police actually doing their jobs, you are doing everything. And so instead of our trained officers who have chosen to put on a vest and go out in the streets and do this, it is you who gets shot in the streets. A shout out to Dixon Cider with the $2 make you holler. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. I'm not coming over there, Morty. Come on, hop, hop. Yay, there we go. Good boy. Thank you so very, very much. We got guilty of being right to join ICE today. I mean, I don't think they would take me. I'm a little bit too puny, but if you got it, then do it. Kevin, welcome. Said, I support illegals being deported. They steal from Americans and use American resources. If you don't believe this, you are clearly clueless. Absolutely. Thank you again, Dixon Insider. Welcome. Let's dive right back in.
Everything, and our neighbors are doing everything. And I can't stress enough on this. We're winning it because we're doing it with Minnesota Grit, Minnesota
and Minnesota Lives. The
decency. Yes. Oftentimes talk about this, and I know people are discussing this a lot. I spent a lot of time with John Lewis on nonviolent resistance. The resistance matters. We're not telling people to be silent, but we're not telling people.
Go do more. We have Renee Good that just died. We had Alex Pretti that just died, but go do more.
Go out and cause problems. We're going to cause good trouble. Served on the China Commission.
Good trouble. Oh, we're going to cause good trouble. You mean the kind where your people die, or is that a different kind of trouble? Point being that this is the job of local police. In fact, oh, I came prepared, guys. I came prepared. This is exactly what they're saying on the ground as well.
This is what's happening last night in Minnesota. Here we go.
Get back!
I don't know what that was.
They threw a brick to his head.
Calling for help. Federal officers were surrounded by a mob. And you can see this is the Bureau of Prisons, right? This guy isn't even ICE. He doesn't have anything to do with immigration. But because he's a federal officer, he gets sent out there and he has to defend this.
Are you pressed?
Yeah, look at him, bro.
Are you pressed?
Literally 2 guys sitting there.
Then back up. Back up now. Back up.
Yep. Literally just 2 guys holding down the fort.
That's how they call it. They don't call it the force multiplier for no reason. The white Indian Jesus. I'll give you a dilly for that. That's a good one. pretty good. Landmark, welcome. Said deport illegal, then legals, then dual. Nah, I ain't down with that. I like my parents, so maybe I'm the wrong one.
Poor guy, yeah. It's like, imagine being put in that position. How the fuck would let this happen in America? Well, where's the police? Where are they? So he got hit in the face with something.
Where's the police?
Really heavy, and he's taking his mask off to spit out. Oh my God. Guy's a fucking tank.
Is everyone pressed?
Give him a medal? Yeah, that's a motherfucking patriot, man.
That's my question for the press. Where's the local PD?
Where's the local PD?
He's right. Yeah, where's the police department? They're out there just totally destroying a building. He's there by himself. The St. Paul police turned around to let an anti-ICE mob storm a Hilton with agents.
This is that woke right shit. This is that woke right shit. Oh, illegal immigrants who we specifically said you could come here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. Guanax said, God damn it. I really hate the fact that neighbors is now one of their buzzwords. So easy to the blatant word washing they use to dupe the idiots. Yep. And before we hop back into the debate, I want to show you what someone was saying. A little conversation that. How the fuck do you pull this up? Oh, that wasn't it. That. Okay. You got that. So, yeah, exactly. And we get stuff like this. I got a comment on, I don't know. It was something relevant to this. And someone said, so your neighbors wouldn't try to stop them from, say, taking you to a concentration camp. I'm like, what? I said, what do you mean try to stop? They're a militarized force. What is it that you think they could do, being the neighbors, could do that would result in me not going to the camp? Unless you're talking about all-out war, unless you're talking about Waco, unless you're talking about something like that, then there's nothing you can do. They have more people, they have more training, they have more power, all of that stuff. So this idea that, we need to protect our neighbors. No, you're just endangering yourself. Stupid. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. Actually, in the attic, I appreciate it. And Morty, of course. Shout out to more guys. Hammer over on Rumble. Welcome to the party said liked and shared again. Thank you. So very, very much. You guys know how much that stuff, it helps. It's free, it's easy, and it doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Buster said Trump 2028. Welcome to the party, but I don't know about that. He's getting awful swampy. We'll see. All right. Let's dive back into this. Morgoth, you can call me whatever you like.
Where you get a legally just in imminent danger. And if they do, then that's where you get a legally justified shooting. But if they don't, and not to say they weren't scared, they could fear for their life, but that fear might not be reasonable to an average person. And when you have a situation where this guy is basically like face down towards the ground, his back is up, there is a gun involved, and you mentioned that it may have discharged. Of course, we don't know that for sure. That's being investigated, and I guess my question is, how much does that even change, though? Because well-trained officers hear a gun discharge and just immediately unload 10 bullets on the person in front of them who isn't.
When they're all standing in a fucking circle. Like, I get they're all aiming down, but ricochet is a thing, right? Ricochet is a thing, right?
Holding or touching a gun. That doesn't sound right to me, Sean. Not that I'm, trained as an LEO.
Well, sure, because you're skipping a few steps. So first of all, prior to them removing the firearm from him, it was identified. They're all shouting gun, gun, gun. So everyone in that space knows that this suspect has a gun at that moment. Then they get the firearm away. We don't know if all of the officers know that that firearm has been removed. Then you hear the discharge of a weapon. So it's like, oh, everybody identified that this guy had a gun, whether they saw it or not. They understand that that's what's being called out to the other officers. Then you hear a discharge of a firearm and they react to that discharge. So it's not like a gunshot from across the street that had nothing to do with anything while they were first approaching this guy. This is mid altercation, mid resisting arrest that this happens, which is.
Yep. Shout out to Behave. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very good to see you. Oh, you're over on the vertical. I'll go full screen for you. Welcome to the party. Joe the Smo said, I don't know how you can watch this debate and think Destiny lost. Well, you about to find out, aren't you? Asia, has proven time and time again he's fully politically motivated rather than constitutional. I disagree, but hey, we're all here for the conversation, so welcome. We also got Bugs in the building. Good to see you, brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Coaching this guy. This is mid altercation.
Mid altercation. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here.
Arrest that this happens, which is why, again, I consider this an unfortunate shooting, but not a criminal shooting.
Right. I don't know if you make a massive mistake in your perception and somebody is disarmed and still shot because you misunderstand something. I mean, isn't that what manslaughter charges are?
Well, is somebody's disarmed when, though? Like, we're talking within a span of a couple of seconds. Like, he did have the gun on him. That's why the guns were drawn in response. You have all these people yelling out gun, gun, gun. So they think that he has the firearm. And then, again, we don't know right now if it's the case that this gun actually discharged. It looks like it from a video, but it's a slow down, grainy video. I'll give you that. But you have a discharge of a shot, then a slight delay, and then you have the shots coming in. After the fact, and you're like, oh, well, he's not facing them at that moment in time. There are plenty of instances where somebody's turned away from you and they're firing.
Speaking of which, I did get my things in a little late, but I did hit up Horseradish for Saturday's debate. So likely, maybe I'll be debating. I'm late, so I was like, hey, it's totally cool if you can't get me in. But yet again, I will be debating. That's in. Every single time. If I was going to, if I was a Destiny fan, I saw Destiny cooked and and I wanted to go in, like, how the fuck could you say this? I'd go in, I would lurk, wait to see what the fuck the streamer says, and then take him down. But because you know that you're standing on water, that you have to just insult and throw random shit, pull it out of your ass, instead of actually listening and engaging with the conversation.
Stupid. At that moment in time, there are plenty of instances where somebody's turned away from you and they're.
I did not even think about that. Shout out to Keith. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this fucking idiot could have had a second weapon. Officer didn't know whether or not he had a second gun. That's a dilly take right there. I didn't even put that together. Of course, we know that's not the case, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay, well, you haven't seen what I had to say. How do you know that I'm not going to be like, oh, goddamn, Destiny really is right about this? How do you know I'm not just clickbaiting with the title?
Facing them at that moment in time. There are plenty of instances where somebody's turned away from you and they're firing. It's obviously.
Well, he's not touching the gun. The Wall Street Journal did the frame by frame, and they found at no point was he touching the gun.
He can't be touching the gun there if it's in a Border Patrol agent's possession. So
right. So what?
Well, shout out to your cousin. Not you, just your cousin. Just kidding. Welcome. What a dumb take that there could not possibly be somebody that has more than one weapon on them. Joe the Smo is a great name for you.
Stupid.
Touching the gun. The Wall Street Journal did the frame by frame, and they found at no point was he touching the gun.
He can't be touching the gun there if it's in a Border Patrol agent's possession. So
right. So why are they in reasonable
fear? Why did they ever draw their firearms? I don't think it was because he was reaching for a gun or saw.
It's because they identified a gun on his possession, which is why they were shouting "gun, gun, gun." And
sure,
again,
it can't be the rule that if you have a gun on you, the cops can draw their firearms and execute you.
No, but if you once you obstruct, now we're not just in, regular life. Now you're in the commission of a crime. Once you put your body between the girl and the officer, you are now in the commission of a crime. That is a crime.
Especially when leading up to the circumstances. So. But there is leading up to the circumstances. There's no reason to think that this guy was a threat or that this guy was.
Yep, there you go. How do you know he didn't have a knife?
You have a firearm, you can watch as many traffic stops as you want where somebody identifies that they have a legal gun in the car. There is a great chance that the officer will draw their gun just...
Yeah, exactly, bro. That's exactly the point.
Based on the notification that you have a gun. And that's not even...
Now, the real answer to this question, is that the officers should be better at actually detaining somebody that they're trying to detain. Clearly, this is not, in their wheelhouse. Despite being CBP, the fact is they are not local law enforcement. That is why they are not as good at dealing with the people as you would expect local law enforcement to do. So again, I know you come in here and say that because I don't like Destiny that I'm going to be wrong about everything, but you got the wrong one, bro. You got the wrong one, bro. I'm here for what's real.
In a situation where somebody's actively resisting arrest and there's a struggle. So they didn't shoot him because he had a possession of a gun.
That is absolutely not true. I've seen so much cop slap videos. They do not just draw their firearm just because you identify that you have one in the car. Now, if you're reaching for a gun, or if officers believe you're reaching for a gun, or if you're scuffling and somebody identifies a firearm,
if they expect the chance of a deadly force threat, then they will. Then not all the time. Obviously, you can find videos where this doesn't happen, but they will very likely draw their firearms in that scenario because you want to have it at the ready.
Now, notice I saw this part. Notice he said draw their weapon. He didn't say point it at them. He said draw their weapon, which could just mean unlatching the thing and having your hand on it. Morgan said, am I the only one that finds the way Destiny moves his mouth while talking annoying? Probably not, because I find everything that Destiny does is annoying.
They will very likely draw their firearms in that scenario because you want to have it at the ready.
I agree, but you just totally changed your argument. You said expect deadly force, just merely identifying.
No, I didn't say expect deadly force. I said expect them to have their guns out.
That's not what you did. Well, okay.
If you have their guns out,
if you want to say that, that's
he was
fine.
Executed for
you just said that they expect deadly force threat. A cop will not draw his weapon simply because you've identified that you have a firearm. There's because totally they expect
a fire.
So he's okay with have it out but not draw. Okay, I mean semantics, but fair enough.
Is a deadly force threat.
Yeah, but he's not if you're not brandished. I've been pulled over several times with a firearm in my car or concealed carry. Just because you identify the officer you have a firearm doesn't mean that they're going to pull their gun out and aim it at you. They'll probably ask to be the ones to remove it. They'll probably ask to be the ones to handle the firearm, which is fine. But simply having a firearm does not necessitate them brandishing their weapons at you.
See, again, brandishing their weapons at you. So where I was saying this is bullshit. I've gotten pulled over 3 times since I started carrying. Every time I was carrying, not a single one of the cops cared. So okay, this is a W Destiny take. Yeah, again, the aspect is not that he had a gun. The point is he had a gun while in commission of a crime. While in commission of a crime. Buck said, I know the Minnesota concealed carry side of this and the legal arguments around it better than any layman's understanding. Definitely better than mine, so I will defer to you, sir. He said, none of these idiots have been in a deadly force situation. They are Monday morning armchair quarterbacking is frankly stupid. Destiny is missing context, as he always does, right? Like I said, I had a CCW, had it revoked, I reopened it, and I have my guns around cops. I've had them taken by cops. So, I mean, and again, this is why I am a law and order person, not a pro-police person. But it could be that. But I still think that the core of it is that there's a big difference between the training of CBP who was who that's who was doing this, and local law enforcement. Obstruction. That is absolutely a crime. If somebody is detaining somebody and you try to get in between, that you are physically and literally obstructing them. Shout out to Jago, Texas. Welcome. Said, easy to point everything out from your safe couch with no stress when you're going frame by frame, right? Welcome.
Firearm, which is fine, but simply having a firearm does not necessitate them brandishing their weapons at you.
Again, but you're cutting out the context. You're cutting out the context of this situation. He didn't just have a firearm on him when they first approached him. He had it mid resisting arrest. That's when this information was revealed.
Right.
And that's when
it was revealed that he didn't pull the firearm at all.
That again was not the claim.
Cop was fighting
but
him
that's
on the
when this
ground.
information became known to the officers.
Sure, that's fine, but they shouldn't have been tackling him and pushing him onto the ground. There was no reason for...
He intervened in their...
Fair, and that's when you put your hands behind your back, you get arrested by these fucked up cops, and you sue the fucking shit out of them. You don't fight on the street.
Other encounter with that lady.
But he did not assault.
It doesn't
Hang on, one
matter.
second. Let's Sean, let's just be clear. Everyone's seen the video, and I understand when you see him. We see a woman pushed to the ground who he may or may have not have been with, and then we see him kind of step in front of and put an arm up in almost like a de-escalation attempt, and then he does touch the officer.
Boom, right there. You're touching an officer who is actively trying to detain someone. Now, again, throwing a bitch around is not what I would like to see, and plus it was CBP, not ICE. And but again, that doesn't allow you then to supersede the authority of the police.
But you acknowledge he wasn't like assaulting the officer. That maybe it was a mistake.
I said he was intervening with whatever that encounter was.
And does that inherently...
Remember, guys, that the video of him kicking out the taillights is a different instance. That was not, what was it, 2 days ago or whatever. That was a different thing. You got Mjolnir's Wrath. Welcome. Yeah, exactly. Interfering with arrest is not protesting. You are not allowed to do that. And you are especially not allowed to put your hands on a federal officer in the commission of an operation.
Intervening with whatever that encounter was.
And does that inherently I
kind of agree with you. That woman she should have been arrested instead of just shoved down. But that is the scuffle. And so the situation is that Sean will bring up something, or actually maybe we can go to the other debate. But there is a specific thing in crowd control where you can't detain everybody. And so you're allowed to use physical force. If she's blowing the whistle in his ear, that is justification for him to shove her. And so we don't know what was going to happen because Alex Pretti got involved. And then, the gunshots went off.
Constitute obstruction if you simply step into a situation.
Like he was literally putting his body in between them to obstruct them. Like if you go see somebody get arrested on the street, like go put your body between that person.
I mean, I agree that's a mistake to do.
Hold on, wait. To be clear, the lady was not being arrested. We have no evidence of that whatsoever. The cop is just shoving people over. It just seems like the cop is just attacking
It does look
people.
bad.
Well, no.
Yeah. So again, I'll say I don't think that we'll just call them cops. I don't give a shit. I don't think the cops in that situation handled things well. But again, just because the cops are fucking up doesn't mean that you can then supersede the authority that they have. And it's still obstruction. It's still assault to put your hands on them. All of that stuff. It's not just a matter of, well, it looked like he was trying to de-escalate. Okay, if we want to have the moral discussion of what should or should not have happened based on how people react, I'm willing to have that conversation. But that's a different part of the conversation than the legal aspect of it.
Whatsoever. The cop is just shoving people over. It just seems like the cop is just
It does
attacking
look
people.
bad.
Well, not just bad, but the cop is just acting with an unjustified use of force that makes no sense unless he's just like attacking people. Like there's no point in an arrest.
Claudia, I'm not asking that. But Morgan's Hammer said cops are human too, so stress can reduce their judgment easily. Then mistakes get made, and I don't find like that's obviously true. I don't look at that as a justifiable excuse, but it is a reality that we have to deal with.
You're just shoving people over for what?
Again,
Why?
fine. If you see an officer put somebody on the ground and it's not clear whether they're arresting them or not, then go put your body in between
It's
you
still
and
a
that
bad
person,
idea.
I think
and
so.
then
I
see
think
if that
that,
see if that's going to work out for you.
And this is what we're talking about. You want to parse down the different specific terms, but it is illegal to do what he did. End of story.
Sure. So you've conceded the whole argument because you keep morphing the words every time.
I'm not morphing anything.
You are. If you see an officer put somebody on the ground.
Okay, Sean, you gotta get the question. If he accuses you of morphing words, say, what words did I morph? What words did I morph?
If the officer was like,
so first of all, that woman was in the middle of traffic.
Going to the ground. We're not talking about any of that. He shoves the woman with his arm, right? Do you acknowledge that? He just shoves the woman aside with his arm.
Yeah, he shoves the woman.
Shout out to Liberty Plus TV. Welcome to
That's in the way.
party.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in the way when he shoved her. Right?
He shoves the woman. Okay, go ahead.
I missed
it. So he
it.
shoves the woman with his arm. Doesn't look like there's an arrest. I don't know why you would do that. If you want to arrest him, you'd probably hold them still and arrest them, right? It seems like he just gets mad, just shoves the lady away. And then the guy, I don't even know if he puts his hand on her, but it looks like he steps in and then turns around to pick the woman up as the cop just starts pepper spraying the guy with the phone. Why? There's no reason.
He gets in between the officer and the subject that he's engaged with. And
Which is not a good idea.
He wanted to arrest
He's
that
not
person.
He's not engaged with the subject anymore. He just pushed her. He just shoved her away, and that was it.
Moving.
But how? So again, yes, that is what we see in the video after the fact. How do you know that he didn't push her down and then was going to hop on her and put her in handcuffs? I'm not even saying that's a good thing to do. I'm just saying that if that's what was going to happen, then you can't get in the way of that. That is not allowed. Shout out to Box with a big 5. Remember, guys, the tattoo goal is $5 and up. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Said he was on the ground getting beat up by 6 guys, taking his licks. He never grabbed his gun. We'll get to that. He never drew on anyone ever. Honor. Fair enough. And again, I think the fact of that it's clear this way or it's clear that way, we don't have that. So this is why the conversation is so important. And this is why I think it's so important for people who think that it's justified to concede some ground and be like, yeah, those cops are fucking bullshit. And it's also incumbent on the people on the other side to be like, all right, I mean, you know, that guy did not deserve to die. The cops are horrible, but he did put himself in that situation. We can't get anywhere if we can't agree on the facts.
He's not engaged with the subject anymore. He just pushed her. He just shoved her away, and that was it.
He's moving towards her when this guy comes and cuts them in between. You don't know what's going to happen.
Bingo.
Sure, you don't, but I know that there's
exactly. So you can't say he wasn't doing this if you don't know what he was doing. Stupid. I think you just conceded the debate. Now I caught it. Projection. Thank you. Oh, where is it? I thought I pulled it up. Thank you again. Box with another big 5. Thank you. Here's a treat for the Overlord. Thank you. Box said they would drop the video so fast if it vindicated them. There were body cams. I never really know the specifics on that because there's a lot of different reasons why. Well, I mean, let me not say there's a lot of different reasons, but there's a lot of different situations. This goddamn dust from the treats. There's a lot of situations where we don't get the body cam footage right away, and there's different reasons. So I'm not going to read too much into that, but I absolutely want to see those. Now, again, I don't know if CBP wears body cams like that, which is another reason why Walls and Frey should not be telling local PD to be standing down. But true. From his, I absolutely want to see that. But again, if it's a matter of, evidence in the case, that could be a reason why it's not released. I'm not saying I know that it is. I'm just saying it could be. Shout out to Blueberry Street. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Let's dive right back in.
He's not engaged with the subject anymore. He just pushed her. He just shoved her away, and that was
He's
it.
moving towards her when this guy comes and cuts them in between. You don't know what's going to happen.
Sure, you don't, but I know that there's no reason for the cop to start pepper spraying the guy. The guy's locked in like a death quick time event. As soon as the cop starts to close the gap, and he pepper sprays the dude.
I kind of agree.
For no reason. We've got escalation there. Then they start fighting. I don't even want to say fighting. The guy doesn't even fight back. He turns around. He's slipping on the ice. And then the cop gets his whole crew over to tackle the dude and execute him.
Sean, can I ask you this? You don't think the ICE officer, regardless of whether you think the ultimate decision to pull the trigger is justified, you don't think these officers seem well trained and handled the situation well, do you? Because it seems like amateur hour to me. It seems like they escalated. Seems like there was like 6 of them and they couldn't restrain one, probably soy-filled guy who is not exactly, looks like he's a beast, difficult to control. It doesn't seem like ICE is exactly sending their best to Minneapolis right now.
I mean, first of all, I believe this was like CBD, Customs and Border Patrol, not ICE.
Yeah. Shout out to CBD and that CBN. If you know, you know.
So DHS still, but yeah.
But again, like, what are you supposed to...
We didn't finish. We got through the first 3 chapters, so tune in next time for chapter 4.
To do in this scenario, like draw me a picture of how to do it better if they can't get in control of this individual that's on the ground. And then during that process, which is seconds long, they end up finding out that he has a gun. Like, one of them got in there and removed the gun. I think that was really effective to get in there and remove the gun.
Right, and I think we can definitely say once the gun was cleared, as Sean said earlier, somebody should have said clear. Remember, guys, this was a CBP operation, not ICE.
Why?
Unfortunately, that was...
Why were they even dogpiling him?
So was that part bad training, or was that part good training?
The bad training was, one, is shoving a lady with your arm. There's just no reason to do that. So that was bad. Pepper spraying the guy for literally no reason. That was bad. Attacking or tackling this dude who's now totally discombobulated, who doesn't seem to be a threat at all. That was bad. Bringing all your boys over to tackle the dude. That was bad. Smacking the dude in the face over and over again with the bottom of the mace or whatever. That was bad. And then taking the gun off him, having a negligent discharge, and then executing the guy. All of these things were bad.
They pepper sprayed the guy after he interceded in their action, which you're like, well, I don't know if it was going to be an arrest.
Justify a pepper spray?
That's not enough to pepper spray the guy.
What are you supposed to... So you're like, don't shove them. Don't pepper spray.
You want to use words now. You want to use words when we can't fucking hear anything because everybody's blowing these fucking whistles. Of course, you can blow a whistle all the fuck you want, but hey, that's gonna change the situation.
Wait,
that's gonna take away the tool of the voice of the officer. But yeah.
So you're like, don't shove them.
Words.
Don't pepper spray.
Wait.
There was already a previous engagement with him where they told them to move back in the earlier video.
Sure, I just
so they had already
clearly
warned you.
And we have the video from earlier, about a month ago, where he was kicking the car.
So what are you talking about?
Clearly state that. So when a guy is standing in front of you with a phone, the only thing that you can do from that point on is
he's not just standing in front of them. Like, I get, like, in order for your scenario to work, you have to not tell the truth. But he was interceding in between him and the woman that the ICE agent or the Border Patrol agent was engaged with.
That was it. He wasn't punching him. He wasn't hitting him. He wasn't
just standing in front of him, and there was no there was no context around it. He did not put his body in between him and the person that he was engaged with. No.
All right, so it's probably a good opportunity. Let's go back and look at the video again. Yeah, this is from earlier, before. So these whistles in your ear right now. Can you hear me as well when I talk like this? When all those what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Are you impeding traffic here? Not allowed to do that.
Go.
Legal whistles, legal shove.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So we shove. So that's what we have. We have the shove. Why was she shoved? I think that should not have happened. I think that should not have happened. But she's in his ear with the whistle. And before we know what he's going to do, Alex is already there. So to say she wasn't going to get arrested, she wasn't going to do this, unless you have access to a different universe. In this universe, we do not know what was going to happen with her. And we can say, oh, how dare that guy shove her? Yeah, I'm right there with you. But there is not the time to litigate that. I said it is possible that there is a situation where, let's go to the actual law. So in the other debate that Destiny did,
HS's reports. So if an objectively reasonable officer in his, I think another agent, so we don't see like he actually touches the agent, but assault isn't actually touching, right? So if an objectively reasonable officer in his situation, the agent who he got in front of, would think that this man is either assaulting me or about to assault me, he has the right to detain him, correct?
He could detain him, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So then he detains him, right?
No, he basically just starts whiling
tries to. Yeah, so he pepper sprays him, which again is look. I have this right here. I want to bring up.
Why did he pepper spray him?
Because he could.
You can pepper spray. When you try to arrest somebody, you can just pepper spray them immediately.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what are you setting for that?
Well, we'll get to that. But Bernini versus City of St. Paul.
So Bernini versus City of St. Paul.
8th Circuit, 2012. These are exact quotes. Officers were not required.
Chris, can you please not spam? We all agree. A resisted. Please don't spam.
To allow demonstrators to continue.
All right, I'm gonna back that up so we get info.
These are exact quotes. Officers were not required to allow demonstrators to continue obstructing streets after being ordered to disperse. And on the physical force, the Constitution does not require police to use the least intrusive method of responding to an exigent situation. There's another one, Crowell versus Kirkpatrick.
Wait. Let's analyze. So what is that case about? Can you read me a quote from this that I can?
So Skinny Pup said, if that was your sister or your mom getting shoved like that, would you jump in to protect her? Of course I would. But then if I got arrested for that, then I would be willingly putting myself in the situation where I can get arrested or killed. I would die for my family members. Yes.
Look this up. This is Bernini, 665 Federal 3rd, Section 1006. Officers were not required to allow demonstrators to continue obstructing streets after being ordered to disperse. That was the first quote I gave you. The second one, I believe, is in the same section.
Okay, so it sounds like for that first one, it sounds like this doesn't apply to the situation at all, right?
Well, it's not about applying directly to situations. It's about the doctrines that come from these rules.
Well, yeah, but this is a unit that was attempting to break police lines. They'd committed several state law offenses, including third-degree riot and unlawful assembly.
So the point is that he is justified in using the force of shoving if it is the case that she was blowing a whistle in his ear or spitting on him, throwing anything on him. We don't know. We don't know. If she was just standing there and he shoved her, then yeah, fuck that dude. Fuck that cop. But that's not the part that we're talking about. Oh my goodness, Box with a big 10. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. And of course, a treat for the Overlord. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Box said citizens can make a self-defense argument against officers. Graham v. Connor, State v. Smith, State v. Ellis, District of Columbia v. Heller. By all rights, Alex would have been justified at some point. Potentially. But this comes back to the unfortunate confluence of events that the gun went off. The cops didn't know, and it is reasonable that if they knew he had a gun and they hear a gunshot, that it was him shooting the gun. So I absolutely agree with you. The shittiness of the situation. Again, we're talking about the legality of it, and I'm definitely absolutely. I want every aspect of this investigated because I'm totally down to say put that cop behind bars. If there was nothing, if there was absolutely nothing that she was doing, which is very likely not the case because they were already there for a job. If that's the case, lock that motherfucker up. But that's probably not what happened. Shout out to Joe. Welcome. Said, here is the real result of that logic. If someone with a whistle blows and your ears start bleeding, you can't do anything, which she was. So did we get any confirmation that she was? That's the most like, Occam's razor. We hear a bunch of people blowing whistles and all that stuff. It would make sense that that's why she got shoved. Do we have any confirmation that is actually what happened? That's the big question. That's the big question. But a big shout out again to our new sponsor of the stream. Very, very much appreciated. Let's dive right back into engagement.
That was it. He wasn't punching him. He wasn't hitting him. He
He's
wasn't
just standing in front of him, and there was no there was no context around it. He did not put his body in between him and the person that he was engaged with. No,
so you're telling me the only path from that point forward is he has to start pepper spraying the guy.
I'm saying that.
Nope, not the only, but he is justified in doing that. This is like, oh, so you deserve to die? I'm going to use the same analogy that I always do. You could see somebody going to go for a hike, right? And they come back and their ankle's broken. And you're like, oh no. Do you think that everybody who decides to go for a hike deserves to have their ankle broken? Of course not. That's just one of the things that can happen when you make the decision to go on a hike.
You're telling me the only path from that point forward is he has to start pepper spraying the guy.
I'm saying that is a proper use of pepper spray in that scenario. Like, what do you want
it
to
is.
do?
He's not using force to threaten anybody.
The other guy in the other debate just pulled it up.
You could say you're under arrest.
And Destiny looked at it and was like, well, I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Resisting for obstruction. Turn around, put your hands behind your back, and then if he attacks you or tries to run away, maybe then something could be justified. But simply the fact that he didn't immediately back down and turn.
I'm for that. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Like, just the same exact thing that the people on the left are doing. He's escalating. This was a domestic terrorist. Shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. We don't even know what fucking happened yet. There's 6 dudes, 8 dudes, whatever around him. Chill the fuck out. This is a situation where, if you're just talking about political optics, you might have a win here. But you fuck it up. That's what the Republicans do. That's what Republicans do.
Could be justified, but simply the fact that he didn't immediately back down and turn around, does that really justify?
This guy was already pushed by agents prior to this in a previous video. Have you not seen that video?
He didn't strike or do anything back.
He was approaching them before.
Which goes to the opposite state of mind that he shouldn't have thought the guy was a threat because he didn't attack or do anything there either.
No, he ignored a warning. Typically, when you're escalating your behavior.
Yeah, you're on the vertical. So remember, guys, if you're on the vertical stream and you want to be on the horizontal stream, the pinned link will always be the link to the landscape. And the chats are separated, but in the box here, everything shows up.
No, he ignored a warning. Typically, when you're escalating your behavior as a person like that is, which again, he already approached the agents. They already pushed him away in the previous video. And then they get into it with this woman. She ends up getting shoved to the ground. He throws his body in between them, which you describe, again, very deceptively as just standing. He just happened to be standing there. Isn't that weird how he happened to end up right between the Border Patrol agent?
Oh, Joey, baby. We just went over this. You'd think, right? That all this shit in Texas. Why in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota? Why are they going so hard for this? Maybe they should go where the actual criminals are, right? Maybe they should actually have their detentions in states like, I don't know, Texas or Florida or California.
So I addressed this in an earlier video, but I wanted to be a little more specific. So in that earlier video, I pointed out that most of the ICE arrests that have occurred under Trump, they're not happening in Minnesota, right? Like very little of ICE activity is actually happening up there.
So again, the yellow is the least and the blue is the most. Not much going on around here. Lots going on over here, but we don't hear a lot of protesting. I mean, Texas, okay, I understand why maybe Texas is like, fuck yeah, get rid of them, all that, da-da-da-da-da. I completely understand that. But what about California? Where's all the protests in California?
This is where most of the ICE arrests are happening. These are your top 20 states.
Again, top 3. We got Texas, Florida, California, Georgia, Arizona, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, North Carolina, Alabama, Colorado, Maryland, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Utah, and Indiana. Minnesota, not even on the chart. Not even on the chart. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. Did I get this one? Shout out to Bog with the big $20 making me holla. Thank you. so very, very much. Morty is loving the treat. Oh, baby. Come on, give me. There we go. Get him in focus. In focus. Box says about the SIG P320. Yes, it can discharge uncommanded, but he was clearly carrying it without that happening for how long? I have friends that daily carry 320s and have never had a problem. It would be very rare to happen here. Rare stuff happens sometimes. Rare stuff happens sometimes, unfortunately. Oh, Box, again! Again! Thank you so very, very much. And we got, for the birdies, we got that treat for Morty. Thank you. More got that. Didn't forget about you. Hold on. I want a second. Thank you. The SIG just goes off when the guy grabs it weird. Yeah. So that's one of the rare things that can happen. Oh my goodness, again. Box is my new sugar daddy, apparently. Morty's like, I'm down. Thank you. So people are asking why so much has happened here in Minnesota. Contend that it's because they dropped 4,000 people on us and not you. Okay, but how does that match up with the numbers here? Maybe there's a lot of people, but there's a lot more people in other places. There's a lot more arrests and detentions in other places. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot, but that's what happens when the Biden administration let this happen. We got Warehouse Junkie. Thank you. And, of course, a treat for the Overlord. We love it. Oh, we love it. He's loving it. Thank you. Warehouse Junkie said legal migrants want the illegals gone most. Bingo. Yep, they had to wait. They ain't about it. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Let's finish this up. Let me get the banner. Oh, my good. Oh, wait. Can't forget about Morgas Hammer. Shout out to Rumble. Morgas Hammer said, you know where ICE should be? Anywhere there are fucking illegals. True. Where are we? All right, let me do this.
Most of ICE's activity, starting with Texas and Florida and California, where collectively it represents about 40% of all ICE arrests, all the way down to 20 here in Indiana, representing 1.4%. That means that all the ICE activity they're complaining about in Minnesota, that's less than 1.3% of everything ICE is doing. Yet that's where all the violence is happening. Guys, this is showing you it's not what ICE is doing, because ICE is doing arrests. Lots
from CBS News.
More arrests in all of these states. And have you heard about any violence in Texas? Have you heard about any ICE violence in Florida or Cali, Georgia, Arizona, New York, Virginia? No, you haven't.
Nope.
It's almost like if the people don't try to fight ICE,
or if they're not trying to hide all that fraud
and attack federal officers, nobody gets hurt and you don't have any violence.
Maybe. So, I mean, we're trying to make it so simple one side or the other, and it's just not. It's just not that simple. Is this a new one? Oh my goodness. I'm losing count. All right, but Box, let me add all of these up. I don't want to lose track, and then we'll get to the next one. Thank you.
Isn't that weird how he happened to end up right between the Border Patrol agent and the woman on the ground?
Nobody
and then
disagrees that he's blocking. Yes, he's blocking the officer, sure, but he's not. The officer's not getting into the woman. He just rage shoves her away. That's all you see. And the guy moves over, he intercedes, and then he goes to pick the woman up, and then the officer starts pepper spraying. You don't think there's any other action the officer could have taken at that point?
I mean, again, that's not the question. Yes, there's a million other actions the officer could have taken. Legally, was he justified in taking the action that he did? Yes. Was it a not good situation? Absolutely. But those are two different conversations.
The woman up, and then the officer starts pepper spraying. You don't think there's any other action the officer could have taken at that point?
I mean, he could have tackled him. There was plenty of things that you could do.
He couldn't have just said, sir, move aside. He could have said,
nope. Remember, whistles can't hear shit.
Sir, I'm going to arrest you now.
They already engaged with this guy before, and he still didn't back off.
They didn't say they were detaining him. They didn't say they were arresting him, and he did back off. That's why there was no earlier engagement that ended in physical violence.
No, he didn't back off because he jumps in right here.
He doesn't.
I wanna
He was already warned in that
Lady
previous
being pushed.
instance. Are we
So now
pretending
he
that
gets
didn't
pepper
happen?
sprayed. Okay.
So, Stephen, I want to ask you a question because
Before we get into that, we got our boy Boggs here with another big 5. Thank you. Said 4. Morty's drinking his water. 4,000 federal agents get all sorts of folks riled up. That's what local PD is for. They've made no promises that if we let them get into the jails, they will get out of the streets. Again, with another $5. Boggs said it's not about the immigrants anymore. It's not about the immigrants anymore than it's about the drug boats. It's punishment on citizens at this point. I disagree with that. I don't see it as anything other than trying to do the deportations that were promised. I have an issue with, they were like, oh, we're gonna go for the worst of the worst. All right, definitely have issues with the way that it was rolled out, but this is what the people voted for. This is what the people voted for. And then we got Warehouse Junkie again with a big 5. All right, Mo, you got 1 treat coming to you. We got 2 treats coming to you. And of course, our boy Warehouse Junkie. Thank you. Very, very much. So the violence is coming from the leaders saying to peacefully fight. If the local law enforcement and state government worked with the federal government, then it would be better. Yes, exactly. This all comes down to local law enforcement. That is what they are for, and they are explicitly being told to stand down. Oh my goodness, Box again. Thank you. Said he asked for our voter rolls to get he asked for our voter rolls to get out. I don't know what this means. What do you mean here? Oh, and guys, we just hit the goal. You guys get to choose my next tattoo. I didn't think we were going to do it that fast. I got to figure out exactly how to do that, but goal met. Awesome. We do still have, actually, I think we hit the stream goal as well. So we got refill for Morty. We got push-ups. Oh my God, so much going on. All right. Warehouse originally said the violence is coming from the leaders saying to peacefully fight. If the local law enforcement and state government worked with the federal government, a lot less people would die. The people need to be deported, and yet we still have U.S. politicians defending them because it's a cheap labor force. Yep. Exactly. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Oh, my goodness. So, of course, you know what that means. The first thing we got to do. Let's go. Yeah. Boom. He's shaking. He wants it so bad. Wait. I got you, Verdes. Yes. Thank you, guys. So very, very much. Here to resurrect the second coming of a common sense. So we got to figure out how we're going to do that. But, yeah. I did not expect us to hit that. All right, so let's get back in here. I got more math to do. I'm not used to all this shit. Going to say, Jesus, did Bucks rob a bank or something? I don't want to know. If he did, I don't want to know. It's already mine. Thank you guys so very, very much.
So are we pretending that didn't happen?
Sprayed. Okay.
So, Stephen, I want to ask you a question because I've seen liberals and progressive commentators, and I understandably upset.
I'm the Rittenhouse guy. Remember? Sorry.
I know you're a little different because you are actually a Second Amendment pro-gun rights guy, but and suddenly a lot of conservatives are like, if you have a gun, you're asking to be shot, not you, Sean.
Yeah, that's
of course.
stupid.
Not saying that about you, but we've definitely seen a few.
Yeah, wasn't it Kash Patel was like, well, he shouldn't have had a gun there. the fuck out of here.
People get roasted for that. But I do wonder, we've seen people like Mayor Frey, I think, really make this situation worse, encourage people to engage in kind of disruptive protests that cross the line into illegality, like taking over a church. I mean,
all right, I lost count on the total number, but we are at $92. Remember, guys, every $2 is a push-up that I have to do at the end of the stream. Oh, man, this is not going to be a fun night.
I don't want to get into that whole debate, but for example, this idea that people are praising this man who was killed, which of course is his life being lost is terrible. And I really do think important questions needs to be asked for putting himself in that situation. There almost seems to be at least a portion of the left that seems to be actively encouraging people to interfere with ICE operations. And even if you think those operations are wrong or immoral or illegal, that seems like only a recipe for putting more people in danger. Do you not agree that that's a bad idea to do?
So there are multiple parts to this question. So the first thing is, unless I've missed something, I don't know if I agree with the characterization that Frey or Walls has told people to do anything illegal. I feel like I hear them over and over again say, make sure that
well,
you're
he called for the
protesting.
release of the activist who criminally obstructed the church ceremony.
Was that criminal? So
yeah,
I watched.
It was definitely,
I
think it was criminal. Yeah,
well,
you
sure,
can't shut down someone's service.
Exactly, Jay. Maybe the border should have been tighter, and there wouldn't be so many fucking aliens in the country.
Shout it
So
down.
I watched this. And I really did. I watched about an hour of it. I couldn't see more. If anybody asked them to leave and they didn't, past that point, it's easily trespassing for sure, right? But I don't know. I feel like there was like,
well, they got CBP there, right?
Like a 30-minute inside thing, and then everybody left.
I mean,
I don't know if.
I don't want
I mean,
but it is a FACE Act violation when you go
Maybe.
and shout down a church service, and that's what it's being investigated for.
Sure. Okay. I mean, it could be investigated for that, sure. But I mean, I don't know if I heard any like the mayor or the governor say like go into churches and protest into churches. You could argue that. No, actually, I won't even steelman that. Like,
shout out to Nate. Yes, and America voted for this. If you're against this, you're a treasonous dog. You can be against the violence, but when you're against the people, you're a traitor. A little bit stronger language than I would use. I think people can definitely have a justified issues with the details. But yeah, I mean, this is what we voted for overwhelmingly.
They've over and over again told people that if they're going to protest, to do it lawfully, to do it peacefully, to not be aggressing on people or to be doing things that could be criminal behavior. Like I've heard that statement said over and over and over again. Even if people are engaged in some level of criminal behavior when it comes to blocking ICE people or protesting where they shouldn't, the answer can't just be execute them. That's just absolutely absurd. And you can feel that that ICE is acting in an immoral way that is still within the borders of.
Yeah, it's almost like we're not a cult. And if you say some stupid shit we don't like, then you're a guy who said some stupid shit that we didn't like.
The law, and so there's some level of civil disobedience where you're like, well, I'm going to accept getting arrested in this case. I wouldn't necessarily recommend people do that because it's breaking the law, and who knows what the criminal penalties will be. But like the answer can't be execution.
All right, you keep saying execution. That doesn't feel like a fair characterization to me. When you're saying it's not like they set out there looking to kill someone in cold blood, Stephen. It's a situation gone wrong.
When it's going wrong, but the officers are like feeding into it every single level of the interaction. Like again, if you watch that video from start to finish, one, I don't know why the officers are shoving people around. It's kind of cringe.
I agree.
And then two,
right again, we don't know. It is justified based on the other opponent. If it was that she was blowing a whistle in his ear, the shove was justified.
Yeah, and then like him pepper spraying the guy, like all of this is just escalating until somebody dies, and then it's like, well, I don't know what happened. It's like, why? Like, there's no reason for them to be behaving in such a manner. You're inducing an event where you're going to have to kill somebody,
I mean, what we're seeing by these left-wing agitators is not protesting. Like, if you had an issue with your local police department and you decided to quote-unquote protest them by following them around during the course of their operations, blowing whistles to make sure suspects that they were looking for escaped, obstructing them in the middle of traffic,
all of that is legal,
like
right?
We would call that criminal activity.
Hold
like
on.
You can't do that to your local police department. You can't do that to your local police department. So the idea that this is like regular, ordinary protesting,
following somebody in a video recording them and blowing a whistle, is that legal or illegal?
Exactly. More God's hammer. The border should be tighter than an 18-year-old Asian pussy. Exactly.
That depends.
And hey, Trump got net negative. Let's go.
It's actually like you could call it like about disturbing the peace if you're making like obnoxious noise. Like I live in New York City. If I play music too loud, the police will show up to my apartment.
If you want to arrest, yeah, that was a good pivot. So that's not illegal, right? If they want to arrest them for disturbing the peace or whatever,
he's got to at least pose the question, right?
Or I'd be surprised.
Obstructing law enforcement operations is definitely illegal. Again,
but you
if the police
acknowledge
are raiding a building in order to arrest somebody, and you were blowing a whistle so that person in said building would escape, which is what these people are effectively doing, that would obviously be illegal.
Well, my understanding is it's not illegal. This is why you have apps on your phone that will literally warn you when there's a speed trap ahead, that this stuff has been decided to be free speech.
There's no fucking app that's like, oh, they're gonna do a raid here, so you can go check. That's an entirely different thing.
We're not talking about the same thing. You're interfering with an active operation.
Notifying people of law enforcement presence has been in some cases upheld to be a form of protected speech.
Yeah, that's also. Again, you're talking about something different, though. If you go during an operation, let's say they were doing a drug bust in your neighborhood, right? You're a libertarian, you're against the drug war. If you follow them on their way to a drug bust and made as much noise as possible in order to make sure that the people who had the drugs in the house that they were about to raid got away, do you think you would be arrested? Or do you think they'd be like, oh, First Amendment activity?
I do think I would get arrested.
In that case, in that case, you could be. But for
okay, so then what is the meaningful legal difference in this case? Before that, let's go back to our poll of was Alex Pretti murdered? Did he get what he deserved? Or did he unfortunately cause his death? 67% of you said unfortunately caused his death. So we got a lot of people across the political spectrum here. But I think most people are going to be on, at least for this, more on Alex's side than Destiny. Yet we have we only have 20% of people saying that he got that he got murdered, which is the other side of it. But only 13% say he got what he deserved. So I mean, hey, take that for what you will.
I do.
Like, oh,
I think
First Amendment activity.
I do think I would get arrested.
In that case, in that case, you could be. But for the ICE stuff here, it doesn't seem like these are the types of targeted operations they're claiming. The names that they've been releasing, Minnesota has come out and said they don't even have some of these people in custody, or these people don't exist, or the records are like 20 years old. So it seems like we can't even trust that ICE is on any kind of targeted operation. For Renee Good, apparently they're just going door to door knocking. It wasn't a targeted raid or targeted bust. I believe for Alex Pretti, I think that he was just in front of they were in front of some federal office or whatever. So that wasn't a targeted raid or bust either.
First of all, that's not information that these people who are following them around know. They're not like, oh, well, I'm against ICE enforcement because they have technically outdated information.
This is all Monday morning quarterback.
Actively trying to disrupt them when they know that they're finding a person. So they have the intent to
Caleb said we can all agree that his death was a tragedy and a huge fumble by ICE. Well, it's CBP. But yeah, I blame the gun and the lack of training by the feds. Fair enough. That sounds good to me. Shout out to Dick Johnson in the building. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. Yeah, right. But that's okay. We can say, fuck, this is a shitty situation that happened because of things that were out of people. Things that happened that were out of people's control. Certain things were not out of people's control. Certain things were. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's not just that simple.
Now you're saying they do know law enforcement operation. You're simply wrong on the law there.
Sean,
just by blowing the whistle by cops moving around in a neighborhood or ICE moving around in a neighborhood, that doesn't count as obstruction. It's been ruled on. This is not obstruction. It's not.
Sean, you do acknowledge that they do have a First Amendment right to record the officers, right?
Yeah, you have a right to record, of course.
So when people are following, and that's
now you're asking the right questions.
What this guy seemed to have originally be doing is trying to serve as an observer and record ICE. And frankly, I have no issue with that. And I think that people, while they shouldn't get involved in the situations, which I think he did choose to do, and I do think was a mistake, even if it didn't justify his death, I do think people have a right. And I am kind of disturbed.
Again, like I have nothing against this guy personally. I wish he was not shot in this particular situation. It is a tragedy. you have every right to record law enforcement during their operations, but obviously when you're blocking people in, which is what Renee Good was doing, when you're doing
Renee
the
wasn't
whistles to
blocking
make sure
anybody in, though,
people
right?
get
Wait.
away.
Before they get into that, yeah, Paul Sanders don't understand why people would try to stop ICE from getting child murderers and murderers off the streets, because they have been convinced that that's not what's going on. They've been convinced that they're going into this area to just get, a poor little abuela who's been here her whole life and has never done anything and pays her taxes and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's legitimately what they think. Don't underestimate how strong dogma can be. You can have the smartest person in the world. But if they have a dogmatic belief that conflicts with reality or the truth, they will take every single time the dogmatic position. That's why it's called dogma.
That was just a
The
lie.
whole
Wait,
entire
who was Renee
purpose of
blocking
that
in?
is to.
Who was Renee blocking in?
She was blocking the road.
They're not blocking.
You just said when they're blocking people in. That's not
She was
blocking.
Obstructing. Come on, Destiny.
Blocking the road.
Okay, so you've changed your words. That's fine.
She was blocking the road. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't misspeak for like 1 second. She was blocking the road, or as many people would say, not blocking anything, just parking perpendicular in the road as you would normally do.
That Kristi Noem said, where Kristi Noem said that she was blocking people in or ramming them with a car. That was the lie.
Yeah, fuck her.
That Kristi.
Fuck Kristi Noem on that.
No,
She rammed the officer with the car. I mean, that's on video. So.
No, the officer jumped in front of the car and he shouldn't have been there. He should know better.
She squared up.
I'm not gonna go into a whole relitigation of that. We did, I think, 2 or 3 streams on that, but
to face him again. That's on the video. Like when she was reversing, she aligned the car with him.
She aligned to go right, which is exactly the path the car took.
No,
why
she
is
went
the officer in
straight.
front of a moving vehicle? Why would
she
the
went
officer
straight and then was turning? And again, here's what we're doing right now. We're basing this
video. What?
We're basing this on. Oh well, and when I slowed down the video and I looked at it with hindsight in 2020, which is the exact opposite of the legal standard, I determined based on the trajectory of the wheels that she was turned enough
that he couldn't see,
whatever that means, to make that an unjustified shooting. No,
The
that's
legal
ridiculous.
standard-
Sean, I don't
Right
like
up on the car, she
wait.
makes
Just to be
contact
clear.
with him. The idea that he has to
Brad's like, no, I want to talk about this one, not that one.
count because she was all the way reversed. Remember, there's 3 turns in a steering wheel. He has to count whether she made 1 full revolution, which would be straight, or
That's
1.5, which would be all the way for the turn. And then he makes that determination in a split second, and that's a fair standard. Is absurd.
Yep. Good
Again,
filibuster.
so
let Destiny give his thought on that.
argument. So continue.
Wait. So the truth is that it's a total.
So we got Destiny here. This is Brad Polumbo, who is moderating, is leaning more towards Destiny, but moderating. And this is actual Justice Warrior, aka Sean Fitzgerald, and I, of course, am here with my co-host, Morty the Overlord, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Welcome to the party.
Totality of the circumstances. The officer's been interacting with her for over a minute beforehand. It doesn't seem like she was a murderer. This is like a large, like lesbian white wine mom woman. He's arguing with her and her partner. There's no reason for that officer to have in his mind the idea that she's about to try to murder cops. And
I mean, except for her accelerating at him. And again, you're trying to do this thing where you make it based on her intent, which is not what's argued. It's not the standards. Whether or not a reasonable officer
So
in that.
again, notice how they're talking past each other, because one is talking about the legality and one is trying to say, well, because it's not even more, but let's say philosophically it was wrong. Philosophically it was wrong. Therefore, there should be we should not follow the law. We have the law and we have our own opinions that inform the law, but are different things. And I think we can all agree, most of us agree, that it's a shitty situation. But you have to be able to separate that from the law.
Same position would fear death or serious bodily injury with the car accelerating towards him.
Filibustering. It's considering a totality of the circumstances.
No,
the woman
that's
had
not.
shown
The standard is whether a
standard.
reasonable officer in that scenario would fear death or serious bodily injury. Again, not without the benefit of hindsight, with the information known to him at the time.
Hindsight. Why do you say hindsight? It's a totality.
Because that's, Destiny, what you are using to make the determination that you're saying right now. We got Boz with another push-up. Said, I am Alex Pretti. Fair enough. I'll let that speak for itself. Thank you so very much, sir. It's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. Welcome. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
The benefit of hindsight with the information
When no
known
one's
to him
talking
at the
about
time.
hindsight. Why do you say hindsight? It's a totality.
Because you're talking about the wheels being
circumstances.
turned,
I'm not
which
talking about
again
the
people
wheels being
describe
turned.
it
I've said this
from
multiple
behind.
times. It was her interaction before with the cop. There was nothing violent said. There was nothing crazy going on. She didn't seem to be demonstrating any lethal or violent intent. And no reasonable person up to that point who ends up walking in front of the car would think like, oh God, she's about to murder me. If you look at the
She's about to
totality
hit
of
him with the
circumstances-
car as she
if
is
you look at-
running at him with the car.
as he walks in front of her car that's moving
Well,
in
she
the
squared
screen.
up to face him when
But
she
Sean,
reversed.
Sean,
she
guys,
backed up
guys,
to
I gotta
reverse
retake
the
the
Yeah,
floor
and
here
then
for a
she
second.
turned her wheels and aligned
So-
better with him.
totality,
Guys,
totality of the circumstances.
Hang
She
on,
wasn't
hang on.
violent or anything prior to this.
Hang on. So I didn't necessarily want to go and debate the whole Renee Good shooting as well, but it is important and it does matter. Sean,
Actually, we're gonna do a slightly different one. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
obviously you're right that if someone tries to run you over with a car, that is what would justify it. But the question is whether that's what actually happened. And I don't think it's clear. There are multiple different video angles that he was struck. One video appears to show that he was, but others appear to show otherwise. It's all very complicated. And also, again, without wanting to relitigate this all, he did continue to shoot through the side window at her once she was very clearly not going to hit him.
In 0.7 seconds.
Yeah.
What
This is the other argument about each instance is going to be determined as its own thing. Nope, that's just not how the law works. In that amount of time, it's going to be judged as one action.
Of the use of lethal force has to be justified, and
That's
I don't
all
know
considered one instance. That's totally wrong.
Each pulling of the trigger has to be legally justified. This is not
That's
just
totally
you can start
wrong. It's
spraying,
one
and if your
instance. You're
original
talking
shot.
All right, we can do it again. So, is going hiking a justification for getting your ankle broken? So then, if not, then it means that if anyone ever goes on a hike and their ankle gets broken, then someone was aggrieved. Or is it just that sometimes when you do a thing, other things can happen? If you impede federal law enforcement, you can get shot in the face. If you go on a hike, you can break your ankle. It doesn't mean you deserve it.
0.7 seconds. The court has recognized multiple times that human beings are human beings, and the idea that he's supposed to have this like hyper perception in 0.7 seconds, which is the difference between shot 1 and shot 3, and know that shot 1 was effective enough or shot 2 was effective enough or 3 is absurd. Like again,
I do
you
think
can watch
they are
videos
responsible
online
for every shot.
Yeah, Pretti protested thousands of times, never got shot. But as we say, it's not a given that if you go on a hike, you are going to get, I don't like this, that you're going to get a broken ankle. But if you went on a hike after the thousands of miles and you broke your ankle, would you feel aggrieved? Or would you feel that that is just something that can happen?
Shot that they take with their service weapon, and I don't think.
Wait, I want to hear it. What did you say?
0.7 seconds, which is the difference between shot 1 and shot 3.
Okay, well, there you go. So did you deserve that? Were you aggrieved by nature? Or did it just happen? Does that mean that it's not bad that you broke bones and shin splints? Does it mean that those things aren't bad? No. But do you see what we're saying? Things that you mean my hand might get blown off if I play with grenades? Same shit.
And know that shot 1 was effective enough or shot 2 was effective enough or 3 is absurd. Like again,
I do
you can
think
watch
they are
videos
responsible
online
for every shot that they take with their service weapon.
What do you mean outing myself? I'm literally putting my face on the internet telling you what I think.
And I don't think
Again,
these people are.
It'll be all three of these shots will be seen the exact same way, just because of the length of time between each.
There
shot.
you go.
In extended situations, it might be different, but again, when you're considering whether the shoot is legal and good or not, you're considering a totality of the circumstances, which are the circumstances that lead up to the shoot. It's not just the moment that the car starts moving towards the guy. It's it's everything leading up to that. They didn't have any violent encounters. The woman didn't display any violent intent. The guy's walking in front of her car and whatever multiple times, so clearly he didn't feel like this was a threat or this was a thing
when
she
he
could
was
do.
filming her, she was wasn't an issue. But when they tried to get her out of the car and she decided to take off, that's when it became an issue.
Why
When
was
she
he
decided to
filming
take
her?
off. See what you just said there? When she decided to take off, not
Yeah, take off into the not caring whether or not I don't think that Renee Good was specifically trying to murder anybody. I think she was trying to escape. I think she was trying to take off, not ram him with her car. But that's what happened. When you drive your car and there's people in front of you, one of the things that can happen is that you can hit them. Shout out to Bathy Crazy. Welcome to the party. Box of Destiny seems not equipped to handle this argument. He can do better. Well, I was told that I'm retarded if I think he didn't win.
When it became an issue.
Why
when
was
she
he
decided to
filming
take
her?
off. See what you just said there? When she decided to take off, not ram him with her car, but when
she took off and then rammed him with her car.
Because her
pulling out the
intent
lead,
doesn't matter, and I
exactly.
don't have to lie
Exactly.
in order
The
to
intent
make my
doesn't-
point.
Yes, her intent doesn't matter.
Like, I don't
true,
have to
but
read
you
her
should be able
mind to
ascertain.
understand that a car that's 2 tons is a serious threat of bodily injury or death.
So why was he standing in front of the car right after he backed up?
You mean after she squared up to face him?
Why
and
was
put
he
him
standing
more in
after
front
she
of the car?
backed up? After she
was
backed up,
circling
why
the
would he
car.
stand in front of the car?
Well, she was
could've moved
backing up
faster,
then, and then she's turned to drive and then started accelerating.
and he could have just continued to move. He stopped. He would have been out of the way of her car. What was
This is, and I'm going to go with Box again. This is actually a bad route to take in this situation because there is the difference. If you look at the difference between the reaction on both sides to Renee Good versus the reaction to Alex Pretti, they're different. So the question then must be asked, okay, fine. If you think both were murder, then, whatever. If you think both were totally fine, then whatever. But since there's a lot of people who think one thing about one instance and another thing about another instance, it means that they're not just going along with whatever, that there is actually different details that are going to change how people see this. Ronald said, it is okay to flee if the law makes you feel sad and you're a liberal. It's also okay to make contact with a cop while carrying a firearm you didn't disclose, and nothing bad will happen in Fantasyland. Dilly to that. And I did turn the heat up, Box, but the situation, and then it takes a minute. So I'm, Hey, there's Box again. Oh my goodness. Oh, this might be the first time I fail. This might be the first time I fail with the push-ups. I don't think I could do that many push-ups, but we will see. Thank you so very, very much for that $5. So if you squint hard enough, you can see reasonable fear with if you squint hard enough, you can see reasonable fear with good. Alex is harder. Exactly. And so by Destiny kind of conflating them in terms of these are 2 instances of the same thing, he's weakening the argument against the justification for shooting Alex. He's shooting himself in the foot. No pun intended. Thank you. So very, very much so. What else are you guys saying here? Caleb said, real question. What specific action would you disagree with on a policy level? Paperless warrants, stop and frisk. Does everyone have civil liberties, legal or illegal? Well, everybody has civil liberties, but maybe not the same ones. Obviously, citizens get priority. And so there has to be something else there with Renee, since Becca's camera has never been released. Well, see, this is the complete opposite of what people are saying here. That that Alex was recording, and if it was so damning, then they would have released it immediately. And we're saying the same thing. So again, we don't know why. It's not uncommon that body cam or cell phone footage or that stuff doesn't come out immediately. That doesn't necessarily mean it's being hidden or anything like that. There's a lot of legal stuff that's over my head that there are reasons why you wouldn't want that released to the public. All right, diving back.
He's circling
Why
the
would
car.
he stand in front of the car?
Well, she was
could've moved
backing up
faster.
then, and then she's turned to drive and then started accelerating.
And he could have just continued to move. He stopped.
Could
He would
have
been out of
He could have. Absolutely, he could have. But he chose not to He chose to make a different legal decision.
The way of her car. What was he planning on?
Oh, in
selling with his
hindsight,
bare
with
hands?
2020,
Yep.
like you could make that argument.
Frame
but
by
that's not
frame.
the legal
Crazy. I've
standard.
never needed a hindsight. It is the legal standard also, not hindsight.
it's
2020.
not.
The
It's
totality of
literally not.
circumstances. The totality of the circumstances is the legal standard.
Yeah,
and
the
the totality of
totality-
circumstances doesn't make her seem like she's a deadly threat.
The totality of the circumstances before. So before, there was a car moving right at him. No matter what you think of her, no matter if you're going to pretend that she wasn't being sarcastic, and she's like, I'm not mad at you. Fine, pretend that wasn't sarcastic. That doesn't matter, because when you see the car coming at you, everything else is irrelevant. A warehouse junkie with another $5. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Said super chat money so Lush can buy a better graphics card and start streaming at 1440. Oh my God, I don't even know if my monitor does that well, but thank you. So very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Let's dive back in.
The circumstances is the legal standard, and the totality of circumstances doesn't make her seem like she's a deadly threat. It's not just at the moment that she starts moving forward.
It's not.
everything leading up to that.
Well, again, it's not just a deadly threat. It's a threat of death or serious bodily injury that a reasonable officer with the same information would act in that situation or perceive a deadly or serious bodily injury threat.
Why did none of the other officers perceive it?
Because they were from a different vantage point. What do you mean?
Ones that weren't in serious danger, the ones that
Like
were on
a
the side
foot
of the
away
car?
from him. Yeah, the ones that were like a foot away from the guy. Why did neither of them seem to perceive this deadly threat, this threat of
The
serious
ones that
bodily harm?
weren't in front of the car.
What
The ones that were a foot away from the guy.
That weren't in front of the car.
Well, they could
Yeah.
still
And
act
we
to
don't know, we're
defend
watching
their
it, or
colleague.
their officer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they
But,
didn't
like, they
seem to
weren't
feel
in front of the
need to.
car. Like that's why.
Maybe
So,
he
guys,
should've
I
got
want to
the
move
car
us along.
moving.
I do want to move us along.
How quickly and easily that would have been.
Okay. Oh no, what? Okay. 94 plus 5 is $99. Thank you guys so very, very much. What y'all saying over here? What y'all saying over here? Yeah, right. 10 is fine, right? 10 is fine. Deadly threat with a vehicle. Pretty simple. Jason said a witness said she was leading the pack of cars and was really good at jackknifing her car to block them. That is a very aggressive move. The witness said she's the best driver in the bunch. Yikes. Yikes. Like I said, in my opinion, they need to use enough troops to keep people back 50 yards and this stuff wouldn't happen. Protest at a distance. I can't believe they let them that close. Well, again, it's because they don't have the manpower. The people that are there are doing the operation. The people who are supposed to be doing this are at home. Because Jacob Frey and Tim Walz are saying, oh, well, no, we're not going to help you because you're bad and mean. You're bad and mean.
I'm not sure we're going to get to the bottom of it, but ultimately it will continue to be investigated. Maybe there may be a point of agreement on the next question related to this, actually, which is the interesting performance of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem in the aftermath of this shooting. I want to play you a clip of her at a press conference immediately after the shooting of Alex Pretti. Listen to this.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Already saying approached with once a stream, right? Thank you. Once you say approached with a 9mm, that okay, it wouldn't be that, but that puts in the minds of people that he approached them. You know what you're doing, Kristi.
The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but
they did disarm this individual.
The armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds.
Dozens of rounds. Weren't y'all just the same people talking about, like, I'm pro 2A, but I'm born and raised in Jersey, so, like, we just don't have that shit around here. But were y'all not the same people who were saying, oh my God, 30 rounds in a magazine? That's all I can have? Why is this different? Why is he different?
He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
So here's what I would say is that...
Yeah, so shout out to Maryland, shout out to Confluence, but disavow that bitch. Just because it was a legal killing doesn't mean what she just said is what happened.
Listen, maybe you think this was a defensive shoot. Maybe you think it's justified. I don't, but okay, we could have that discussion. For the Secretary of the Department
Because we have that right enshrined in the Constitution
of Homeland Security to get in front of the cameras after an American citizen was just killed by one of her officers, and immediately, based on the fact that he has a gun and ammunition, which millions of people carry every day, suggests that he must have been in some plot. They did also call him a domestic terrorist, again, baselessly, to kill law enforcement, like to go and shoot up and do a mass shooting targeting law enforcement, is totally baseless and irresponsible. Sean, I respect that you have a more conservative viewpoint on some of these issues, but you are not like a team red automaton who will just defend anything like some people. Surely you agree that that is unacceptable.
Well, hold on here, Ronald. Saying Kristi Noem being an idiot has nothing to do with the incidents themselves. That's like blaming Walz for his rhetoric causing them. I think those are completely different situations because one's happening before and one's happening after. So I think if we're saying, like, if Kristi Noem was out there saying, look what they're doing, we gotta do this, they're trying to kill our ICE officers, which she probably would be happy to say, then I think that would be more like Walz and Frey saying, we need to get out there and do this and that and that and that. I mean, you literally can't. What the fuck? You literally can't make this shit up from behind a gate. From behind a gate. He's saying the police aren't going to do anything. It's up to you. You've got to get out there. You've got to get in their face. You've got to spend your time, money, and body for all these child rapists.
Served on the China Commission in Congress, ironically enough, as co-chair with Marco Rubio. We used to bring in Chinese political prisoners, and we would ask them, when we speak up and call out your government, is it bad? And they said, well, in the short run, it's bad because they torture us. But if you don't speak up, they will torture us and forget about us. And the idea is right now is we have to be speaking up. We have to call it out. You are doing everything, and our neighbors are doing everything. And I can't stress enough on this. We're
out of context. Should I? Yeah. What? Screenshot. This is gonna be fun because we have Walz there. So I was gonna say we're probably not even gonna remember what this is about when we pull it up. Let me get rid of that. What was that for? Boom. Saved into eternity. But yeah, let me just let him finish this.
Doing everything, and
you are doing everything.
You are doing everything, and our neighbors are doing everything. And I can't stress enough on this. We're winning it because we're doing it with Minnesota Grit.
We're doing it with Minnesota Grit and Minnesota citizens.
Minnesota decency.
And Minnesota bodies.
Talk about this, and I know people are discussing this a lot. I spent a lot of time with John Lewis on nonviolent resistance. The resistance matters. We're not.
The resistance matters, guys. Go do more of this stuff that's getting you killed.
Telling people to be silent, but we're not telling people to go out and cause problems. We're going to cause good trouble.
So while I think that it is equally retarded that Kristi Noem is saying what she's saying, that Walz is saying what he's saying, they are very different. Because people are hearing that and understanding, oh, what I'm supposed to do is go more. Be like Renee Good. What did Box say? What did Box say? This is the message that's coming across from these people. So absolutely, they are culpable. Absolutely, they are culpable. I'm gonna call you a cunt. Said Walz is capitulating with fascists too. Fuck him. He's not protecting his voters. Bingo. He's actively putting them in harm's way. He is. He may as well literally push them into the street. He may as well literally be doing that. Yeah. So far, that is the report that he had no ID on him. which I don't think should mean that should change anything about whether he was justifiably shot or not. But yes. Oh, box again. With the big 5. Thank you, sir. And of course, a treat for the Overlord. Getting down to the crumbs again, guys. Oh man, getting down to the crumbs. Box said civil disobedience used to be respected. Good trouble is good. Fair. However, do you genuinely think that the people hearing this, the people like Alex Pretti, the people like Renee Good, think that what they're doing is good trouble? Were they engaged in good trouble or bad trouble? Either way, good question. But either way, it is up to exactly as we're seeing right here. It is up to interpretation. So clearly, they thought they were doing good. So, all right, fine. Maybe you say, no, I don't think they thought they were doing good. They knew what they were doing was bad, but they did it anyway. Okay. What about everybody else who saw them? Did those people think that what Renee Good was good trouble? Then, like I said months ago, before any of this shit popped off, unfortunately, because of these leaders, more people are going to have to die before this is taken seriously. There are stand-down orders. We just saw it from this guy.
So this is what's happening last night. What? Guy's a fucking tank.
Is everyone?
I do find it to be funny that they only really needed one. Yeah, that's a mother.
Sorry.
They're fucking patriot, man.
That's my question for the press. Where's the local PD?
Where's the local PD? Chilling at home on orders. Just chilling. Warehouse junkie again. I am definitely not able to do this many push-ups, guys. We are gonna have to. Well, we're gonna have to add it to another stream, maybe a gaming stream or something. I'm gonna hurt myself if I try to do that many push-ups. But thank you so very, very much. Okay, what do we? How long is this? We can side quest gotta be a real short thing. All right. All right. What do we got?
August 21st, 1921 saw the largest armed uprising in the US at the time since the Civil War.
So this is our side quest. Oh, sorry. Our side quest. Before we get to that, we got box again. Even Morty's like, again? God damn. Thank you, sir. Said more people will certainly die over this. Take the hint. Yeah. Stop doing, and so that's why I asked you the question about good trouble, or were they doing good trouble or bad trouble? And so I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you think that Renee Good and Alex Pretti were doing what they thought was good trouble, then Walls is explicitly saying, go do more of the thing that got those people killed. That's two. We got Moist Critical. We got Jared Leto. We just need the Teen Wolf and the Brown Ben Shapiro. Welcome to the party. But yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. All right, let's see what the side quest that was paid for. New rule, $5, and as long as it's under 8 minutes, you can request a side quest. And of course, we're going to hit the like button.
August 21st, 1921. So
why would we watch a video and not hit the
largest armed uprising in the US at the time since the Civil War? What was this event and what led up to it? Well, let's go back to the coalfields of West Virginia and see how it all came about. It all started with the miners of the area wanting better conditions and treatment from the coal companies. In those days, in those parts, the coal companies owned and controlled everything. They built the towns, homes, general stores, schools, churches, and recreational facilities in the remote areas near the mines. Not only that, but they didn't pay them
didn't we get Asman?
miners money, but a form of currency called a scrip.
Well,
the scrip was the only currency allowed to be used in the towns, and so the miners and their families were bound to the areas. They also had to lease their tools from the companies and were forced into what were called yellow dog contracts. Contracts that basically said that if you took a job at the mine, you could not associate with anyone in a union and you couldn't join a union. If you did, you were fired, blacklisted, and evicted, and in many cases beaten on the way out by the guards just for good measure. Despite these strict rules, the miners over the years did make moves to try and unionize with a view to improving things and enacting change. The mining companies, however, used the bold...
Okay, obviously we can't side quest songs or copyrighted things, but yeah, under 8 minutes, $5 for a side quest.
Felt's detective agency to force laborers to stay in line. They were gun-toting agents who would quite happily drive through a mining community and spray buildings with bullets at any sign of unrest. This often meant that not just the miners, but their wives and their children were injured and killed. All of this led to the first round of serious resistance. In the spring of 1920, a gunfight broke out between Baldwin Felt's agents and a pro-union group which included the West Virginia police chief. 10 people were killed, including the town's mayor. Less than a year later, after the chief was acquitted by a local jury on charges that related to that fight, Baldwin Felt's agents gunned down both the police chief and his deputy on the courthouse steps. This was the spark for the Battle of Blair Mountain.
I will say the response to Epstein is the biggest issue that I have with Trump. And there's other shit here too, but that's the biggest thing for me.
The nation of the union supporting police chief and his deputy fired up between 10,000 and 13,000 miners who set about waging war against a force of around 3,000, made up of men of the Baldwin Felts Company, the coal companies, and eventually even federal troops sent.
So while we're watching this warehouse, give me, if you want to do it in Discord, give me like what you think we should be taking from this.
By President Harding. Fights and skirmishes happened across the territory for around a week from the 25th of August. Even though the Baldwin Felts agents and their fellows were outnumbered, a combination of holding the high ground on Blair Mountain, superior firepower, and even the use of military aircraft to bomb the rebels allowed them to hold out. It was only when the president sent in federal troops that Bill Blizzard, one of the leaders of the uprising, realizing that a lot of good miners would be killed in future fighting, put the call out for them to stand down and start heading home. A combined total of around 200 men had died, and after the battle, 985 miners were indicted for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and treason against the state of Virginia. Some were acquitted by sympathetic juries, but others were imprisoned for years, with the last one paroled in 1925. Ultimately, it was a Pyrrhic victory for the coal companies, because even though the rebels lost the Battle of Blair Mountain, in the long term, the battle raised awareness of the appalling conditions miners faced in the dangerous West Virginia coalfields, and years later resulted in a stronger union movement and better conditions for the miners and their families. They set in place a movement that would have a large impact on labor negotiations for years and decades to come.
Interesting. So I see Warehouse talking there. I'm going to read some of what you guys are saying and let him say it before I go in. Ron said, "The living will remember you for a whole 5 minutes as the martyr you were." Well, unfortunately, there's statues of George Floyd, so that is necessarily the fact. And so Warehouse is saying, that this is what the video you just watched. That is this is what the Second Amendment is for, and the that is absolutely true. But again, you have to be willing to engage in what can happen. If you're going to say, I'm going to take arms up against the federal government, like if you are morally justified in doing that, go for it. But people are going to die. Is that worth it to you? Is it worth it to you that people are going to die to protect all these pedophiles and whether they're not just illegal people who should not be here, who are taking your money, taking your resources? Is that what you want to put your life on the line for? If so, I mean, fair enough. I definitely don't. But if you do, that's the only justification where you should be talking about getting armed for this. Not saying you shouldn't be armed, but getting armed to shoot law enforcement doing their job, which was voted for. If that's what you want to do, it's not going to end well. But like, goddamn.
defend anything like some people. Surely you agree that that is unacceptable from the secretary.
Right. So there's two issues with what I had that she said there. First of all, actually three. One, we really in this country need, I'm not going to comment on an ongoing investigation to like come back into play because like she says he approached with a firearm, which is like a not technically a lie, but is effectively like the biggest lie that you could tell.
It's a politician type lie.
Because he didn't have the firearm out. He didn't present it. Like it communicates the wrong information despite technically being true. And then she goes on to imply that he's a mass shooter or he was a potential mass shooter or he was targeting law enforcement, like to kill law enforcement, maybe not in a mass shooting kind of way, when that's not supported by the evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Like said, people will die over it. So how do we proceed? It's kind of important. They're our fellow countrymen and women, and thems. We don't care about the thems. Just kidding. What we do is let the government do what we voted for them to do. That's deporting people. Not getting in their way. Using the different levels of law enforcement that are meant for different things and different purposes to do those different purposes instead of making all one agency do everything. That's what we do. If you want to change the law, go ahead and try to change the law. If you want to vote somebody out and all that, the midterms are coming up. But taking to the streets in this way is not effective and looks really, 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 really bad for your cause.
If I was planning to do something that terrible as Kristi Noem described, I probably...
Yeah, well said. Taking up arms to defend illegals, and especially with the expose of the Signal Gate organization and funding, is insurgency. Oh, but they're just people that are just randomly out there just blowing whistles because they care so much. Okay, I got a bridge to sell you.
Probably wouldn't wait for me to be on the ground surrounded by 7 law enforcement agents and then for them to find the...
Well, hey, never say never. Like, Waco was a legitimate reason that they were like, I am willing to die for this. I feel that the government is not following their own laws. And so they were morally and legally justified. But guess what happened, guys? Everyone died. Point being, not, well, don't fuck with the federal government ever. No, that's what 2A is for, a tyrannical government. But understand what you're doing. Understand what you are signing up for when you say we are going to get in an armed, hot conflict with the federal government following that is following the law. That is an active rebellion. Shout out to Smotwani. Thank you for the $1.99. Saying, when are we getting the Epstein files? I wouldn't hold your breath, brother. I wouldn't hold your breath. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to. Nobody reminded me. I haven't been given his refills. We got a bunch of refills. All right. We're running out.
He stands in the fallout of a world misled, picking truck from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command, a beast of judgment. The Lord will give his bid on his growl, rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trigger keeps the melodies right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense.
Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath. It was very clear that first press conference when someone asked Pam Bondi about it, and Trump was like, well, wait. We're still talking about this guy. Why does anybody care about that? That was the first thing. That was the first thing that I was like, oh, this motherfucker. So but that's the saying, so people dying is okay now. Well, I mean, logically, yes, that people die. That's what happens. Yeah, that's my point. So, like, yeah, if you're going to get into a hot conflict with the federal government, likely what will happen is that you will die. If you feel that the government is so egregious that you're willing to put your life on the line, well, then I applaud you. I just don't think that this is a situation that should rise to that level. I don't know that. Okay, well, I mean, but we don't, that's irrelevant to my point. The point is that outside of their cult shit, in terms of the ATF and the guns, they were totally justified. I mean, again, I don't know every single detail, but they were justified. They were not doing anything with the ATF that should have caused that, and they decided to take a fight. And it's definitely not okay that they all died. But again, it's not okay that people break their ankles when they go hiking sometimes. But sometimes that happens. When you fight the federal government, you can die. Sometimes that happens. Oh no. Oh no. I'm here from the government. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Oh, so many. What in the fuck? So many treats. Yep. Well, we got another one. You got to get some water. Some water. Thank you. So very, very much so. All right. Let's dive back in here.
As Kristi Noem described, I probably wouldn't wait for me to be on the ground surrounded by 7 law enforcement agents and then for them to find the gun for me to execute my plot. So yeah, this was absurd. Kristi Noem is an embarrassment. And again, you should not go off like half-cocked with bad information and like deliver messages like this. Because even the part that she said that's technically true in the beginning is a lie.
Right. And it makes it infinitely more difficult for people like us who agree that it was legally justified, but it was a really bad thing, to be able to express that nuanced position. Thanks, Kristi Noem.
Because of what she's implying by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stephen, when you see Stephen Miller, who shares your name, of course, come out and immediately brand this guy an assassin who tried to kill law enforcement, I mean, I do believe that Trump has the right to enforce federal immigration law, and he was elected on a mass deportation agenda. But I think we, at bare minimum, deserve some degree of honesty and not this just blatant, brazen lying.
I completely agree.
I mean, they've done.
I think Trump has become the swamp. He's just become the swamp. I think he's done. He's reached the point of where he was ahead of the game, so he could get shit done because people didn't know which way he was coming. I used to be a big UFC fan, and you get a young buck on the scene that does things a little bit differently, and everybody kind of knows what he's going to do, but they can't stop it. Whether you're talking about like an Israel Adesanya when he came on the scene, or a Khabib, you know what he's going to do, but he's so good at it that you don't know how to handle it. But eventually people watch game tape and they figure out, okay, this is kind of how you operate. And now you're not just breezing through anymore. And it's like, oh, well, I mean, it was going to be like this. If it's going to be hard, I don't have to do anything. Let me just, do whatever's easiest for me. That's where I feel like Trump is at.
This with almost every big shooting incident that happened. They did it with the Charlie Kirk shooting as well, where Nancy Mace and other people have literally just come out and started ascribing a whole bunch of stuff to this guy before we even knew who the shooter was. We've seen Kash Patel make crazy statements. We've seen Kristi Noem and Trump make crazy statements. Like, they just want to get ahead of the story so that they can kind of like spin whatever narrative or story they can.
Wanted to ignore you or make fun of you, but I agree. Shout out to Senator Rand Paul, a gangster. Welcome back, baby girl.
Before any of the actual facts come out, or until the next insane thing has happened in 2 other days, and then we've all moved on from it. So yeah, I mean, it totally undermines credibility from all of our agencies. Like, you can no longer trust almost anything that they put out, because you've seen that they're willing to just, like, if the head of the agency is willing to come forth and lie, like, blatantly about videos we've all seen.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me, Destiny, that there are politicians who would lie? I don't know about that, bro.
I
thought only Trump lied.
What am I supposed to trust anything else they put out? I'm not sure.
No, it's a serious problem. I mean, these people are also responsible for national emergencies. For, if there is, God forbid, an attack on the United States, DHS is going to be putting out updates, and I just don't know how we're supposed to take this essentially, and I will say this, ICE Barbie seriously, right? She dresses up in costumes to go on TV, of uniforms that she's not actually needing to be wearing. She wears them as props on a television set, then goes back to her condo. And I just think she's totally embarrassed the administration, and they can do better, even if you don't agree with their agenda. I mean, surely there's a better advocate for it than this, but they appear to be standing by her. Here is Caroline Levitt.
First question, the answer is yes. He still has confidence and trust in Secretary Noem.
I did not see this. I did not see this.
Here is Caroline Levitt.
First question, the answer is yes. He still has confidence and trust in Secretary Noem.
How is that possible, that you could see everything that's going on and still have confidence and trust in?
Good question. Good question. I don't like
Kristi
it.
Noem, Sean.
Well, I mean, listen, Trump is also like a backstabber guy who likes to flatter you before he fires you. So that could be the kiss of death for all we know. But yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, look, you shouldn't have confidence in, listen, I've heard the argument for why the right or the government is throwing out these narratives initially, and they say, oh, it's because the left will make their own narrative, a la
never over.
Michael Brown or whatever, past instance that justifies it. It's just, I don't buy it at all. Like, you should not do this, especially if you're the government. Like, let people on the internet that are analyzing the videos, like the Zapruder film, like, make their cockamamie theories or whatever. But like, there's a level of like prestige when you're in the government that you shouldn't do this. So
yeah. Also, I did get a bit wound up over the gun control language that Noem and Trump used. Yeah, like, I don't know, he had a gun, and I don't think that's very good. Oh, really? Oh, really? Because all of your fucking supporters do.
Oh, people say, how do they have confidence? It's just doubling down on your side. Like, our administration does nothing wrong. We have confidence in them. But like, as we see,
and that's politics. That's always been what politics was.
Many times, you could have confidence in somebody up until the moment they're fired.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that's the case, but at least politicians in the past only made lies they thought they could get away with. These ones seem to not even care. They lie against video footage, but they still get away with it. They still get away with it. They've realized that they don't have to try, and people will still buy the bullshit. That's why we've got to look at all sides of things, see what this person is saying, say what the reaction to that is saying, say what the reaction to the reaction is, reading this article, watching that video, all that stuff, because there is no one source of this is the truth anymore. But people absolutely still buy it.
I think that's where we're heading. Destiny, is she going to be the first major firing from the cabinet?
I don't see how she's not. I don't see how she's not. And if she's not, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm saying, like, I do not like Trump. I do not support Trump. I'm getting there, man. I am getting there.
Probably not. I feel like he stood by her through so much other extreme stuff. As long as she can continue to tank everything, it feels like they have their fall guy for this now that Bovino or whatever is gone. Yeah, so I mean, she'll probably still be here, and then we'll see.
You mentioned Greg Bovino, and of course he's the chief of Border Patrol. He is apparently being reassigned, and
they bring in Tom Homan, and I think that's a really good thing because Tom Homan is, a bipartisan. Like Obama gave him that medal of whatever the fuck it is, and the motherfucker cares about the border and knows how to get shit done. Yup. Again, we ask why? Why is it the case? Why is it the case that we have all of these other states that
I addressed this in an earlier.
Why are we getting all these move your fucking hand, bro. Come on. Well, whatever. Okay. But we can see that we've got the map of people detained by ICE 2025, and we look at all of this. Now, obviously, we're into 2026 now, but the yellow is nothing much going on. Is this this is Minnesota, right? This one? No, this is Michigan. This one? I don't remember. Either way, it's fucking. There you go. Either way, it's not blue. It's not dark. The darker it gets, the more there is. And we see, fine, Texas, maybe we expect that Texas is like, let's fucking go. Get them out of here. But California, as dark as it gets. Where are all the riots? In California. The fraud hasn't been exposed yet. Shout out to Angry Amputee. Welcome to the party. Holman is indeed awesome. And I think I think it's a good sign that it's like, hey, we gotta figure this out, because it's not okay. It's not okay that things keep going this way, if for no other reason than just the optics. If for no other reason. There are other reasons, but I'm saying if for no other reason, this can't play.
Happening in Minnesota.
Oh,
Vino, and of course, he's the chief of Border Patrol. He is apparently being reassigned and no longer going to be in charge of the Minnesota operation. So that does suggest maybe a pivot. But I want to play you this clip of him, because I find this extremely bizarre that even now, days after this incident, we still have no idea who the officer involved was. But that is, of course, in part because of the new DHS policy of masking officers and keeping them anonymous. Bovino was asked about that. Listen to this.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put up a poll for the landscapers. Should federal law enforcement be allowed to mask?
Commander Bovino, when it comes to the shooting, from what I understand, there were 2 agents who fired shots. We know one of the agents had 8 years experience, and we know he was a less lethal instructor and had this training. What did the other agent, what was his history, and are they both working right now, or are they on administrative leave?
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. So we're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved, that again is going to come out in the investigation.
So it's bizarre to me that these agents are.
So yeah, I've got the poll up on the why do I keep doing that? On the landscape stream. Should federal officers be allowed to wear masks to hide their identity? Yes or no? Mel said with the doxing, yes. Ronald said, that's kind of a response to you guys doxing everyone for the smallest transgressions. Yeah, we know why protesters wear masks. And Patrick said, the same people yelling at the feds to take the masks off are the same ones 6 years ago losing it if you didn't have a mask on. Never forget. Never forget.
That again is going to come out in the investigation.
So it's bizarre to me that these agents are still working. I mean, even if it was a legally justified shooting, they just took someone's life and were involved in a traumatic incident. Even if they're not guilty of anything, they should still probably be on administrative leave while it's investigated. And then I have to say, I understand that they face a lot of threats and intimidation right now, but to me, the masks have to come off. Right? We cannot have anonymous people roaming the streets and apprehending people and using lethal force against citizens, and we don't even know who they are. Sure, they face threats, and that should be prosecuted by the FBI, to the fullest extent of the law, anybody who tries to harass or threaten their family or anything like that. But we ask judges, we ask politicians, we ask everyday law enforcement, all to be identifiable by badge number, by public name.
I don't know. I'm really torn about this, because very obviously the doxing is a real issue. But like I mean, how many just political streamers are have their information out there? I don't know. I think on principle, like there should be a principle. There is some principle. I don't know what it is. There's some principle that I am leaning towards. The government shouldn't have that power, because the slippery slope is then anybody who doesn't like X person can just buy, garb, mask up and be like, I'm from ICE. I'm taking you wherever. But I don't know. You wouldn't go in alone to a lion's den filled with lions. If you're scared of doxing, you shouldn't be an officer. We have always required our police to be mask off so we can hold them accountable. Yep. Police officers known to their community, they are not secret police. Well, again, this is not local PD. And I think a lot of what's going on that makes them want to mask up it has a lot to do with the fact that local PD is not helping. But I'm kind of with you. As I said, for some supporters, cruelty reads as honesty. Breaking norms feels like freedom. Hurting the right people feels like justice. Well, dilly to that. Well said. Tom Homan is a true OG. Hey, we got Gridiron Masters in the building. Welcome. This is all a farce. None of this changes the fact that immigration laws need to be enforced. It's just an optics war. Yep, I think it's all about the fraud. I think it's a distraction from the fraud. Bone said ICE is doing pretty good job in Minnesota. Keep up the good work. Yikes! Welcome. All right. Let's dive back in.
Ask everyday law enforcement all to be identifiable by badge number, by public name, and it's part of the job, unfortunately, as it may be. I mean, even as public figures, we get stalkers, we get people sending things to our address, we get doxxed, and yet for some reason they seem to think it's okay to have ICE officers and other DHS officials just running around masked and anonymous. Sean, do you
It does have a little bit of an odd. Again, I can't put my finger on it, but I don't like it. I'm pro law and order, not pro cop, not pro law enforcement. Law enforcement is a necessary evil in order to have law and order. I really don't know.
Support that, or do you agree that that's a problem?
Look, I understand why they have the masks. Obviously, ICE agents and their family members have been targeted in the past by these left-wing activists, but I genuinely agree with you. Like, American civilian law enforcement, you're supposed to know who they are when they're operating out in the field. And we should prosecute the people that are exposing their friends and family and targeting them in all those kind of ways that they were doing in the first Trump administration. But that doesn't mean that they should be anonymous enforcers. Again, it's very rare circumstances where your law enforcement does this, usually where they're going up against gang members or they're undercover, but then they're also participating in a raid that you don't see their faces. And every single operation related to immigration is the opposite of very rare circumstances. As far as the paid administrative leave thing, I mean, that's why we have paid administrative leave. Even if this is the cleanest shooting, which, it is a messy shooting, but even if it's the cleanest shooting that you absolutely could have, firing your weapon at a human being and taking their life is something that you need some time off for. Usually you're supposed to see a psychologist or something of the sort. So again, I agree.
And that was something that I brought up with the Renee Good situation, given that the officer was dragged by a car just I think it was 1 month, if not a few months earlier. I question whether or not he should have been back out in the field. Because while it was a justified shot, while he didn't do anything illegal, that doesn't mean that was the only way that could have played out. I don't know. That is true. SWAT teams wear masks all the time. That is a very, 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 very good point. Why is it different? Why is that different? I think you might have convinced me. I mean, yeah, if SWAT does it, why not? I think to try to play devil's advocate, I think they're not necessarily wearing masks to obscure. They're wearing masks for protection. So it's like a face mask in case of, anything being thrown at them or something like that. Yeah. But I don't know. It's tough. Freedom ends the moment you trade your liberty for security. Facts. I mean, hey, that's got to go for law enforcement too, right?
You need some time off for. Usually you're supposed to see a psychologist or something of the sort. So again, I agree that they should be there. I mean, it's better that they're moved out of Minneapolis than in Minneapolis, but we have paid administrative leave for a reason, and we give a ton of money to Border Patrol and ICE in the big, beautiful bill so that we should have enough people that these guys could take some time off.
Stephen, do you think they might behave a little differently if their faces were on camera? I do wonder. That's just
I mean, you have to say yes. There's no way that if not, I was gonna say if not, then they wouldn't be doing it. That's not the reason. So scrap that. But I mean, yeah, there is. I mean, just look at the internet. When you have to have your identity connected to what you're saying, people, are not necessarily as willing to say the shit that they can say behind their fucking screen. So to act as if that's not going to translate to real people who have actual authority, I think is silly.
Natural human psychology, that they might be quicker to shove a woman indefensibly or to escalate situations when they're hiding behind these bandanas that are...
Yeah, I mean, I think if you disagree with that, you're just coping.
Not even official masks. So what are your thoughts on that?
On the other side, this is also a cope.
I mean, probably, yeah. You mask people up and they can act crazy sometimes. Yeah. I mean, we should know who they are. I think everything's been said on this. I agree. It's just the administration is just acting in the most divisive and aggressive way possible. Like if Trump cared at all, and Republicans don't care about illegal immigration because it's a faux issue to them. They just throw it up whenever they want to make voters mad about a thing. But you can tell with the way that they approach it that they don't actually care about it as an issue. And that
this is why we hate you. Just address the fucking thing. All these ad hominems, fuck you.
Voters don't seem to care much about it as an issue, aside from things to vote on. Because, imagine trying to explain to a European friend, so ICE is mass deployed right now doing immigration enforcement, and they're like, oh, that must be where, in Texas or California, or no, up in Minnesota. Why? The per capita numbers don't make sense.
Because of the fraud.
The absolute numbers don't make sense. It's because a cognitively impaired Republican kid.
I think, hey, that's a good deal. Look. We'll change the handbook, the fucking policy, whatever the fuck it is. As long as there's a perimeter of 50 yards, no masks. As long as there's a perimeter with 50 yards, there's no masks. Then if people are, coming into that point, then it's clearly, because, you can identify somebody from 50 yards away pretty fucking easily. So again, we're talking about the notion of obscuring your identity versus protection. I think that's a pretty good trade.
Made a stupid video where 90% of the information was fake, and they decided to just go mass deployment of ICE to the state for just no reason.
Sean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, you can look by the numbers. The per capita rates of people removed from Texas and Florida are significantly higher than in blue states, and the reason for this is because you have state.
Well, maybe not California. California might be more, but yeah,
and local coordination. Destiny talks about how Republicans don't care about illegal immigration or any of this. In reality, the Democrats are actively benefiting off of this conflict. That's why they don't work with the feds. That's why they encourage people to go out there. That's why they tell their voters consistently that they're not legitimate law enforcement. That's why you'll see on social media all these people saying, oh, well, ICE can't arrest you because they're not a general law enforcement agency, even though they absolutely can arrest you for obstructing their operations. Just like
shout out to the landscapers. I find it better because, especially when I go from here to here, it's a much better focus than on the vertical. But hey, whatever you guys like. I love my TikTok, so no hate, no shade.
Any law enforcement agency could do so because they want these conflicts to fester. I mean, Tim Walz after this compared, I guess, I don't know who he's comparing to, but Minnesotans to Anne Frank, which again implies that ICE is the Nazis. And spoiler alert, if you were in the times of Anne Frank and you had to deal with Nazi soldiers, you would be justified to kill those soldiers. So this is what is being stoked up by these comparisons because they want this conflict. They benefit from it politically.
Yep.
And it's the biggest distraction for somebody like Tim Walz,
who literally was speaking from behind a gate. Talk about optics. Come on, man.
Who doesn't have to deal with the consequences of Nick Shirley's video, which, of course, Stephen had to mischaracterize.
Well, let's not litigate that. Let's not litigate that. That could be another episode.
I want to say just to anybody listening out there, who's ever heard me say crazy things about Republicans in the past, this is why I don't think that it's worth it for Walz to take the ultra kind position and to say, oh, there should be no violence and protest, because people like Sean and all the other Republicans will constantly mischaracterize every single thing they say.
So he shouldn't suggest peace because people aren't going to do peace anyway.
What?
Make that make sense. Make that make sense. actual justice warrior has more control, more influence over the people of Minnesota than their own government, their own governor? Is that what you're saying, Destiny?
Don't think that it's worth it for Walz to take like the ultra kind position and to say, oh, there should be no violence and protest, because people like Sean and all the other Republicans will constantly mischaracterize every single thing they say. Both the mayor and the governor.
So that's what he's saying. Well, because YouTubers might have a thing. Just say the thing that's getting you killed. Say the thing that's getting you killed or getting people killed. That's insane. That is insane. Shout out to Box. So the Trump rut is greater than Minnesota and ICE is a distraction. Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, 18 billion is a lot, but hey, you never know. You never know. We got Lone Wolf and Cub. Welcome. So everybody's talking about what ICE can do, but nobody's talking about the protesters that could learn to try to not run over ICE or pull a gun out on them. To be fair, Alex Pretti did not pull a gun out, but, yeah. Why is my button not working again? Oh, because it's on that.
Of Minneapolis and of Minnesota, respectively, have been unequivocally telling people, do not do illegal things. Do not obstruct, don't riot, don't break stuff. Like, be peaceful, record people.
But fight. We need good trouble.
Maintain a distance.
Like, if you want to be in the position of saying, yeah, obviously Kristi Noem was trying to elicit the image of a guy pointing a gun at ICE officers when he said approach with a 9mm, then let's keep it a buck. This is the same exact shit. Define good trouble by what Tim Walz meant. Again, if we're saying that it was good trouble, that Renee Good was doing good trouble, that Alex Pretti was doing good trouble, then you're explicitly saying go do more of the stuff that gets people killed.
Do not obstruct, don't riot, don't break stuff. Like, be peaceful, record people, maintain a distance. Like, they've been unequivocal in their messaging there.
Except for the good trouble part.
And yet you still have people
do not
like
do
Sean
illegal things, but they're kind of like the Nazis.
you-
I don't know if you guys know that.
Did you agree?
Exactly. If you and as he just presented, if you are saying these are the Nazis, but don't do anything, that's not going to sit. That's cognitive dissonance. If they're Nazis, why the fuck aren't you murdering them? If they're actual Nazis, why aren't you murdering them? That would make sense to me. But somehow, you think they're just some underground fucking murder club, but also you want to get up in their face with a fucking whistle?
The Nazi rhetoric
the problem is
escalates
you've
stuff.
lost all your moral high ground when you're taking videos and selling merchandise in front of Alligator Alcatraz. You can't conduct yourself in that manner and then go, man, I wonder why Americans are so opposed to our form of deportations. If Donald Trump wanted to, Donald Trump could have said, here's what we're doing. We're going to every single prison in the state, and if you've done a violent misdemeanor or any felony, we're deporting you. He could have made that announcement, and every blue governor, blue mayor, everybody would look like such a loser trying to oppose Trump on that initiative. Because how are you going to protect literal rapists and criminals and everything in your...
I'll agree with Destiny here. And I'm saying, why didn't the officer that disarmed Pretti give the weapon is all clear call? Having trained with cops in Massachusetts, communication is paramount. That was the first thing that Sean said. The first thing was that, well, they called out gun, but nobody said all clear or something like that. And so when the shot goes off, then it is reasonable for the officers to not know where that gun is coming from and take action. I don't think it's the right action. That doesn't mean it's illegal.
In your states and cities. But instead, they do the most divisive, most aggressive, most disgusting AI image, AI video, Alligator Alcatraz, selling merchandise,
Oh, AI, we don't like AI? So we don't like this then, right? We don't like this then, right? We're changing what he looks like. You remember with Joe Rogan and the COVID stuff, and they made him look orange? I already felt bad that he died. We're all thinking it. Is anybody confused as to why they edited this picture? What have I lied about, sweetie? You know, I know why you ain't saying it. I know why you ain't saying it.
Laughing about it, joking about it. I mean, like, what do you expect? Of course, this is what's going to happen.
Well, worse than
Like,
that,
this is leadership
Stephen,
101.
they sent people to. I for a long time I was very critical of sanctuary cities, and I still think it's a problematic policy.
But
at the same time, when you do have the federal government like sending people to dystopian El Salvadorian prisons without due process, I can kind of understand, Sean, why local authorities wouldn't just be comfortable turning human beings over to them or working with them closely.
I mean,
okay, you can understand that, but the law is the law, and it was voted upon, and that's what happened. I also don't like the what do they say? The immigration porn of yeah, we're so tough, and we're gonna put you in the worst place ever. I don't fucking want to do that. I just want to get them out of my country. I just want to get them out of my country. And you know, especially with the, you know, the Kilmar Obrego Garcia guy was very clearly MS-13. And there was some clerical bullshit with that. You know, people are going to fall through the cracks. No issue there. But there was that one student girl that wrote to her school newspaper asking to not be so pro-Israel, and they deported her for that. Not cool. I was told we were getting the worst of the worst. That's not the worst of the worst. Exactly. I like the law. I just want them to enforce it better.
They weren't working with them prior to that. Like
I forgot what he said.
Dystopian El Salvador.
Yeah.
In prisons without due process. I can kind of understand, Sean, why local authorities wouldn't just be comfortable turning human beings over to them or working with them closely.
I mean, they weren't working with them.
Oh, so I didn't lie or I did lie? What did I lie about?
Prior to that. Like prior to sending, and they were sending Venezuelans to El Salvador because Venezuela was refusing to take their own citizens back. Like there was a reason.
Yeah. So they hate me, but they've given me over $100 in one night. Yeah. I throw bills at people that I hate.
None of that justifies.
Also, to be clear, that's a lie. I called this out before, and now I've been completely vindicated on the fact that we literally deposed Maduro in a military operation. To say the United States of America couldn't force Venezuela to take back some people is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
This is actually how they did it, because they started taking back people when their citizens started getting sent to El Salvador.
Yep, and then, you know, the self-deport, is that over already? Goddamn. The self-deport thing with, you know, they'll give you $1,000. You know, I don't love giving away free money, but it's costing a lot less than you being here. What I really don't like is that they, I just heard this somewhere, so fact check me on this, but they raised it from $1,000 to self-deport to like $2,600. That's a slippery slope, because then it's like, okay, well, if they're just going to keep raising the price, let me just stay here and wait. But I don't know. Jay Dizzle said the media is the biggest threat to America. Great. So when you're a guest in the country, you're not allowed to protest. Well, you are allowed to protest, absolutely. But, you know, you have to do it in such a way that is conducive with the laws. Wilmo said, ICE already said if we find an illegal around criminal illegals, then they will get deported also. Period. That's what we want. That's what we want. Nick said, I grew up in a town neighboring Broadview. Broadview, too. I saw the crazy protesters there on TV and couldn't believe back then, last year, the crazy actions by rioters beating on Fed vehicles. And I'm going to assume there's more to that. But yeah, I mean, the degree to which these people will feel justified in doing what they're doing, it's scary. And we need one more vote. We need one more vote on the landscape poll. We are at 50-50. Should federal officers be allowed to wear masks to hide their identity? Chad said the first shot was justified, but the dumbass kept firing while he was parallel to the vehicle. Bad shot and murder. Nope, that's not how the law works. Because of the time, they are chosen as one action. And we got that one more vote, and the yeses have it. The yeses have it by one vote. So clear, it's not that clear. It's not that clear, guys. Hey, shout out to Colby. Welcome. All right. So there was let's do this. All right. Because I want to get in a little bit of what Dave Smith said, but he was talking a lot. So here's what are we gonna do?
Dave Smith says, I'm an immigration.
What's his face? Fucking Jake Rattlesnake and Rob Noor on the tweet from Dave Smith.
Restrictionist. Dave Smith says, I'm an immigration restrictionist. I believe that we have the right to remove any and all people who entered our country illegally. Also, ICE is out of control. A bunch of pussies drunk on power going around intentionally escalating violent interactions and intimidating US citizens. They create these tragic situations, and after the gigantic show of force, they won't deport a fraction of the illegals who entered under Biden. This is simply not worth it. Initial thoughts on that?
I mean, again, first off, I have no problem that people that want to look at an individual situation like these shootings and see whether or not they were lawful on the part of the law enforcement agents. The problem is to even give into that game is to give the left the win, right? So think about it, if we both, I'll just ask you real quick, Jake, do you agree that the left's intentionally setting up confrontations?
Yes, of course, yeah.
And do you agree that if that happens hundreds of times, eventually there'll be probably a shooting?
Yes.
So the left doesn't care whether that shooting's justified or not. The Renee good one, I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, is a justified shoot. Doesn't matter. They're like, see? Then we had right after that. Remember the 5-year-old that got detained? Clearly a bullshit story. And yet repeated
The
verbatim.
5-year-old. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that ICE detained a 5-year-old in a malicious manner.
Kamala Harris, by Mayor Fry, by Tim Walz, etc. The mainstream media ran the story over and over. It does not matter. Then if there's eventually a questionable shooting like this one, Pretti here the other day, the problem is someone like Dave Smith, what he's really doing, once you realize that these altercations are inevitable, what he's doing is basically saying, I'm not comfortable with ICE operating because left-wingers will get violent and then ICE clashes with them. So I think that makes them authoritarian. And
That's a pretty good. I'm seeing through. I've had a little bit of, I don't know if I want to call it an awakening, but just a shift in my perspective because, Dave Smith has been my kind of number one guy that I listen to. But the notion of like just being such a pure libertarian seems to be more of an exercise of, see, I'm right, versus this is what we should do. And I think Dave Smith is probably the least bad with that, but the libertarian mindset seems to always just be like, well, government's bad, so anything that happens is bad. See, told you government was bad. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. Government is bad. But we're here, and we got to deal with it. We're not the only country. There's other countries that don't have, it's not as simple as a lot of libertarians make it out to be. Shout out to Warehouse Junkie again. With the $5. Thank you. So very, very much. We're down to crumb piles. So the father of that 5-year-old abandoned the kid when he decided to run from ICE. So, yeah, in case you didn't know, they were taking care of the child. It is actually the father that just abandoned a fucking kid in the middle of nowhere. And from what I heard, fact check this part, but they tried to, get the kid back home, but, because it was illegals, they wouldn't answer the fucking door. Come on, man. What are we doing?
In other words, I'm technically for secure borders, but I don't want them enforced because if we try to enforce them, the left will engage in violence, obstruction, intimidation, etc., and then ICE will have to fight back. And I'm not comfortable with that. I think that makes them thugs as a libertarian. The libertarian in this case, and Dave Smith, if that's what he wants to call himself, becomes the best friend of the left. Someone who's so concerned about, everyone could exercise their own rights that they're willing to mass import a bunch of people that want to enslave. My answer, I said it today on my show to a libertarian. I said, do you think you're justified in using aggression against me for just my words and thoughts? He said no, and I muted him and kicked him and said, okay, go f yourself then. We'll continue to fight for our country and you can complain. How about that? I don't take this opinion as a serious way whatsoever. Now, can you say, I didn't like this one altercation? Sure. But when you're ignoring the fact that these are intentional altercations set up and it's inevitable, what they really want is perfect automaton ICE agents that are able to react while whistles are being blown in their ears, while cars are ramming into them, while they're getting death threats, while they're being called by Democratic politicians while they're telling them that they're going to arrest them afterwards. They want them in the moment in split-second, microsecond decisions to always make the perfect decision. And that's not going to happen. Inevitably, there's going to be bad decisions. And these people like Dave Smith will be there to say, I don't have the stomach for it now. A bad decision occurred. him. If he says that these people are a bunch of out of control pussies drunk on power, then why don't you show us how to do it, Dave? I'm sure you'd be so much better as vehicles are accelerating to you, as you're getting bricks thrown at your head, as people are blaring these whistles in your ear. And make no mistake, that whistle shit's insidious, right?
It really is. Even just the videos, it's hard to fucking focus on what's going on.
You see this for years. You've seen this, the left using noise, not just to alert people.
I mean, I mean, now it's the whistle thing, but like all over I mean, we remember stories, and it's even in movies. I'm pretty sure it's in Zero Dark 30. I'm pretty sure it's in the show Homeland, where they use blasting loud music to keep people awake as a torture device.
But also to attack people. And like, if you've ever been in a house with like a crying baby, you know how it just physically makes you. Now imagine that constantly that's right in your ear. Then you turn around and shove someone, and the next thing you know, people are getting in your face and preventing it. It's also tiresome to watch. I have no problem. I understand. I don't like police violence either. I have no problem questioning it. But if you're doing so in a vacuum and you're not pointing out, holy shit, this is all made possible because the left wants it to occur. That has to be the root. That has to be where your focus is. And if not, if you're going the Dave Smith right, all you've done is ensured that the left will always get their way in perpetuity. You'd think this kid would learn since the 2020 riots. But hey, I guess when the next COVID lockdowns occur because lefties come into power because weak pieces of shit like Dave Smith, I'm sorry, I actually like Dave, so I'm being a little, but weak people acting weak like this, like Dave Smith, he'll have no one to look at but himself. But he won't do it. He won't do it. He'll say, oh, it was because, Tom Homan was braggadocious. It's because Bombino was, he was too masculine.
And that is what I see. That is, now that I'm the main thing was Venezuela. Because as I have said before, I would not have voted for Venezuela to go for us to go and capture Maduro, but I didn't get a vote. I woke up, it was done, and objectively, it was a great way or it was a great operation in terms of efficiency. And I mean, the Venezuelan people were happy. Maduro's alive. We have him in custody. That gives a lot of leverage. Like, there's a lot of things to be like, okay, this is definitely not the same thing as Iran. And starting to see that broke this I don't know, this I guess standard that I have or had that, America first means America only. And that won't work. That won't work. Unless you are willing to say the military or the government should not do anything with any other country unless they are stepping foot on our soil or our airspace or whatever. Then you this position doesn't map on to the real world.
That's the problem. They were drunk on power. It's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so true about the essentially torture tactics that the left are using on the whistles in the ear and honking all the time and all of the demoralization and degradation of these people. It is literally like a torture tactic. It would drive me insane if I had these absolute gremlin goblins doing this to me 24/7. I don't know how long I'd last. I mean, I think the guys are freaking admirable if I'm totally honest. But here's another one that they're doing.
I last 5 minutes with somebody blowing a whistle in my head before I threw an elbow. Like, especially come over that one video where the guy who actually did beat a couple of their asses, where he's like had the megaphone right up against his ear with the siren. Like, that's it. I would have just ripped that microphone out of his hand and just beat him out. Never mind.
At what point does sound become assault? Like, somebody brought up earlier about like ears bleeding. Like, that is a thing. At what point do we say that is actual violence? I think that it should be a pretty high standard, but at a certain point, surely.
Another thing that they're doing, they found the hotel where the ICE officers are staying.
This is the same one that Asmongold was covering when we watched that video. And he's like, "Where's the local PD?"
Apparently, and they've been destroying all of their cars. Bricks through the windows, just ruining their cars, and then they're just destroying the hotel as well.
The plastic snow shovel. What the fuck is
You got her, buddy.
I mean, you can't even destroy the bloody E.
You got it. Yay!
Of course, got to target E, right? E's always the target.
Yeah, plastic snow shovel. I mean, good one. But yeah, they're also sitting out front of the hotels all night, honking their horns as loud as they can so that the ICE officers can't get any sleep and everything. Like, just insanity.
They should be doing this to the migrant hotel.
Yeah, right?
So there's one. Like, again, just on this point, right? It's, imagine, who would want that job? Who would?
For good question. We'll come back to that. Who would want that job? Ronald said, you mean they're peaceful protest techniques? Although I do think that gives a reason for heavy rotation in and out those officers. Yeah, peaceful. Mostly peaceful. Ronald said 30-minute snatched and grab. The scary part about our government is that through our elections, we are governed by consent. Is inevitable. It is inevitable that they will mess up. I mean, yeah, they're humans. And that was what Morgana's Hammer over on Rumble was saying hours ago, that, you know, cops are humans, so stress can reduce their judgment easily. Like, yes, that is a true fact, but I think that has to be built into, you know, you took a stressful job. Now, maybe you didn't realize it was going to be this stressful, but that's the name of the game.
Want the job of ICE right now, right? It's like after the Kavanaugh thing, I said this, like, if you're a white male, right, and you get appointed to the Supreme Court by a Republican, you're nuts, right? They're going to call you every name of the book. They're going to tear your life apart. Who would want that job? So a lot of people, in fact, who would want to run as a Republican? If you're Elon Musk, or why would you ever run? I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. I'm rich. I'll try to improve the world on my own without being a politician. I'll enjoy my money. I'm not going to get smeared like this getting involved in politics. The same with ICE.
I mean, he already did, and that's why he got the fuck out.
And so we're already like well understaffed. And by the way, Congress, including Republicans, won't staff as much as necessary. And so you're taking these people that are in a very difficult job that are considered like persona non grata, demonized by half of this country. And then they're constantly being harassed. Their license plates are being scanned. There are entire chats on these signal programs where it's like actual an insurgency that's following these people around, finding their names, doxing them, attacking them with vehicles, blowing whistles. And then you're shocked if one of them gets a little agitated and does something. Now, am I saying that that gives you the right to just execute someone? No.
Shocked like Kaya.
No, I'm not saying that. But of course, this is a major problem. And do you think for a second, if this was going on the other way, if this was a red state, right, where they were trying to lock up people that were pro-lifers, and all of a sudden you saw right-wingers going after the FBI's hotel like this, you think for a second the local police would have stood down? You think for a second if they did, the feds would have been in there the next day arresting every in that city? Of course.
Solitary confinement, 5 years, no trial. That's what would have happened.
By the way, that video there, if there's another one after that, like, did you see like the two officers that held the whole fort down? The one dude's bleep. What a bunch of chads.
Yeah,
and then another tactic they use, right, where you see that person hit him with a brick. They hide behind legal observers and members of the press and view their violent attacks there. Right, there he is. There's that Chad. This guy deserves the Medal of Honor, or Medal of Freedom, I guess.
So this is at the hotel, is it? Or
where was I don't know. It's also Minneapolis.
His hand looks bloody.
I don't know that it's the same hotel, though.
So Alex Jones here says, last night, hundreds of crazed lunatics broke into a hotel and began beating up the staff because 2 ICE officers were staying there. After several hours, the 2 agents were able to push them out. The police never came. Trump must declare an insurrection act or pull ICE out of Minneapolis now. So this guy's bleeding everywhere.
Total Chad, man. Ready to stand back up, these 2 dudes.
Yeah, I'll just mute this and we can just sort of talk over it. But
now, as you're watching this, I challenge you. Tim Walz, Mayor Fry, Kamala Harris, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, any member.
Bill Clinton ain't saying shit about shit right now.
Democrat member of the press, etc. Show me one that's condemned this. Show me one that condemned the breaking into a church. They don't. Now, remember, though, they said because it took Trump 2 hours on January 6th, that meant he was engaged in an insurrection. And yet this shit happens on a daily basis. And what's Tim Walz doing? Handing them donuts the next morning.
That's exactly what they were saying. So let's hop over a little bit because this should bring us right back. But in that same video, where is it?
So this is what's happening last night in Minnesota. Happened to this hotel building. This was before all of the stuff went down.
So we all are actually wait. So let's see where is it? I think it was right here.
Heavy, and he's taking his mask off to spit out. Oh my God, guy's a fucking tank.
Is everyone pressed?
Give him a medal. Yeah, that's a motherfucking patriot, man.
That's my question for the press.
One question for the press.
Where's the local PD?
Where's the local PD? Sitting at home, chilling out. Because that's what they were ordered to do. So this is before
all of this stuff went down. Right.
So ICE was staying in this hotel, so they felt justified to go and destroy it.
I do find it to be funny that they only really needed one police officer to keep all of these people out of the building. Just one guy. Yeah, all hail the First Amendment. It allows me to break windows when I'm angry. That's right, guys. And so these...
Is that what they said?
First... Yeah, all hail the First Amendment.
I think that was just what Asmund said.
It allows me to break windows when I'm angry. That's right, guys. And so these absolute fucking animals just went totally crazy on this. And you see, none of this would have happened if they had the police there. None of this would have happened. All of this is completely engineered by the state and by the city. They have caused all of this to happen on purpose because they hope to profit from the chaos. That's the reason.
That's the reason. And there's Tim talking about our boy Tom Homan headed over to Minnesota to fix that shit up. So, like we said, guys, it's not that fucking simple. It's not just, oh, it's murder. Oh, fuck around and find out. It's not that fucking simple. If you are trying to fit this into a box of it being that simple, you are the problem. You are the problem. Leave room for nuance. It is important. We must have the nuance. I'm responding to someone in... I'll leave that to you guys. But yeah, oh my god. There's too many push-ups. This is too many push-ups. Before we get there, though, let's give a big shout out to all of the donations. Oh, so very, very money. So very many monies. And again. Oh my goodness. And of course, there's more. Oh my goodness, look at it. Just look at it. Box and a warehouse coming through heavy. And of course, Box, our sponsor of the stream. Guys, thank you so very, very much. I know. You could be hanging out doing anything in the world, and yet here you are hanging out with me and the Overlord. But now it is time. So we have... Oh my god. 116. 58 push-ups. Jesus Christ. I'm not excited about this, but let's do it. Play. What's happening? What happened? We need our jams. All right, here we go, guys. You've paid me. Now it's time to pay yourselves. If you can't do 58 push-ups, do 40. If you can't do 40, do 20. If you can't do 20, do 10. If you can't even do 10, do some girl push-ups or something. Let's get healthy. You've paid me. Now it's time to pay yourself. Why isn't this letting me? Oh. All right, here we go.
Kingdom of confusion, carved out of falsehood. But it
Ah!
was like a prophet reborn. A voice watching fire, a mic on this guard. The chaos watches with an Nazi glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the sinking journey of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the
Good enough. All right, let's go. I want to see numbers in the chat. How many push-ups are you doing? All right.
He stands in the fall of a world misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a
Let's
weapon.
fucking go.
Declare, exposing every shadow. Pretend not to fear, and the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the Lord will give his bid.
All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and halfway. I'm gonna take a halfway break. Look how puny I am. I need the break. Alright. There's 29 more. That's easy. That's easy. We got this. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, I'm so fucking puny. Oh, it's so pathetic. 10 left. 10 left. Let's go. Let's go. Ten more. Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's 58. 50. Woo! That's how we get it done. That's how we get it done. Who paid themselves? Who paid themselves? Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Look at that. I don't even got to put it on a replay. Woo! I know, guys. That is why I know. This is why I need your help. That's the whole point. I need your guys' help. Who else did it? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Angry paying himself. There you go. So come on back and, hit the donos and I'll get better. That's the whole fucking point. That's the whole fucking point. Guys, thank you so very, very much for hanging out. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. I just started a gaming stream, and going to be doing more of that, little different stuff, but always Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, doing exactly what we're doing. Maybe some debates, maybe some panels, but always a good time. I'm tired, and I got something in my eye. I was going to show Morty, but he's getting more water. You gave him so many treats. He needs the water. So if you are a member of the channel, I will see you in the after party. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out. Let's see. Can we get him? Can you see him? Once again, that is Morty. And I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.